yes, everyone. Welcome back to another show. Everyone's doing well and having a great bank holiday weekend at this moment in time. It's been actually not raining for the first bank holiday weekend for a while around here, so that's decent enough. John in there as well. So yeah, it's guys. So just to let everyone know, I did a little video yesterday about saying thank you to everybody that is helping me along and subscribing to the channel, get me monetized on the channel and everything. And memberships are live now as well. And I know a lot of people with iPhones don't have the join button on their chat when they're watching, guys. So I've put the link to memberships in the live comments, guys. So if anyone wants to join Jamie Phillips Football Chat, you'll be a Team OG member, and $1.99 a month is your membership, guys. And with that, what helps? It helps the channel because it'll help improve the channel because I'll help me buy better equipment and stuff like that going forward and things like that, guys. So your money is going to good places. Trust me. Ravi in the house, Jay back again. Good evening, Stephen, my friend. 6 times in the house. Yes, Jamie. Andrew in the house and Chris in the house as well. We've got Statman himself, Steve here, my good friend. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us on this growing channel, mate. You're smashing it as always, as I keep on saying. Fair play to you, mate. Thoroughly deserved. You're putting in the effort and it's shown. And yeah, long may it continue. I'm just happy to come on. Happy to be part of it.
No worries. And guys, don't forget to go and subscribe to Statman as well. His channel name's right there underneath his lovely face right there. There it is. Statman Stars Football Channel. So go and check it out as well. Average in here as well. John, are you there, mate?
Don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you, yeah.
Your camera's acting up. So it is.
Hello, boys.
Bastard.
All right, mate.
Oh, dude. This is the first time I've seen Savage without a hat.
I know.
He's got the sunglasses on, looking chilled.
Hey, come on, man. You know what it is, bro. It's hay fever season, bro. You don't want to see the eyes, man.
Oh, how you been? Apart from the hay fever.
Weird, man. Weird weekend with no. It's the first weekend without any Liverpool matches, isn't it?
Oh, it's mad.
Yeah, I didn't even realise he was going to be playing today. So,
we've had.
They got beaten there.
We're going to talk about the England game, yeah. Jesus Christ.
England are trash, man.
Yeah.
I did a video a few weeks back, and me and Savage especially were talking about it. It's like today showed what I said a few weeks ago. England are so negative, it's unreal. So negative. So negative. I mean, you're playing 5 at the back against Hungary. Jesus Christ. And I hope all I saw on my timeline was Trent late, that whole England game. And then their Lord and Saviour, Reece James, comes on and concedes a penalty straight away. So they all went hiding after that. But we're going to get to that as well. We'll talk a bit about England as well. Look at that big up stat, man. Ian's in the house. Rajan Pot, obviously a member of the channel as well as a team member. Good evening, chat and panel stairs. Must be Sunday. Hi guys, big up John, also a member to the channel. Mods. Jamie still can't find a link on my member's iPhone. So Webby, I'll put the link in the chat there, mate. The link's in the chat. If you press that chat, it will go to my channel homepage, but the membership thing will be right in front of you as well. It'll come up. And then you can do it from there. So, yeah, I know a lot of people are having trouble with iPhones, finding it on iPhones and that. So I have put the link. It's at the top of the chat, guys. So
go and check it out, guys.
And go and check it out if you want to, guys. Wait, England were playing. It was on Channel 4. That's how it is. It was on Channel 4. I didn't even know Channel 4 still existed. We got Jamie the Bell, we got Squidley. How you doing, my friend? We got Jamie, Hugo, and Stud. Another member of the channel, another Team OG member with yourself. Did watch the games. I knew it was going to be the same old story. And Eden as well, another member of the team. Beautiful. Hopefully, Ravi and Edward will be here as well. Edward, I think, is coming in, and Saint. I've sent the link to Saint as well, so he might jump in And
Okay.
Rod's probably jump in any time soon and go, "Oh, boys!" Love Rod's, absolutely. Love Rod's to bits. Can we talk about Gareth Southgate not being able to manage a team? He's awful. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, guys. Hey, Helen, how are you? And right, here we go. It's going to start right now. Here we go. FSG out.
Oh.
Right. So this is a Liverpool debate. We are going to be talking FSG, Mane, Salah, transfers, summer coming up, important time. So we are going to, right. So obviously, I did my video the other day, and I was my reason for doing the video. I watched I don't know if you guys watched the Anfield Agenda with Craig Hawson is his name, I think.
I know who he is, but I don't watch it.
Yeah, he's a bit.
But he's a bit of a knobhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I don't mind him still, but he walked off one of the streams I was in before, man. Like he just walked off.
He
when he was working for Goldbridge.
Yeah, when he's working for Goldbridge, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a bit of a shambles, man.
What he does, he makes sure he reads the hate comments instead of the ones that are praising him for stuff.
Yeah. And there's way more that are praising him.
And gets really upset by about 2 or 3 people that say the same thing. It's like, mate, you're like my age, just 40 years old, just chill. And it's just but yeah, he did this video. I have to say, the video he did, he came across it really well. It was really calm and talking well on the channel and all that. And he's doing like 10-minute videos now, and I think that helps him a lot, so you don't have to waffle on. But he was talking about what's to come next season with Mane looking like he's leaving. What's happening with Salah? Are we always next summer FC? Because you see that a lot of the time, don't you? We'll go do this next summer, we'll go do that next summer. And it got me to thinking, like, is he right on some things? Then, obviously, I did something silly and got in the comments.
Oh, I bet they came for you, didn't they? They came for you, didn't they?
Came for me hard. I didn't even put anything that bad. Because all I keep hearing is that Jurgen Klopp is doing miracles with this team we got. And is he being backed? Like, he's never been backed. So all I put in the comments, and I'm going to get this, just going to start the debate off. All I put in the comments is, us Liverpool fans keep saying we got the best goalkeeper in the world, the best centre-half in the world, possibly the best fullbacks in the world. Fabinho's one of the best DMs in the world. You've got Salah, Mane. So if he's not being backed, how can we still say this at the same time? So I said that in the comments, and I got handed. So I just left it. I just let him get commenting, and I just hearted everyone. Just on purpose. And so that's why I'm going to start off with this. So Jurgen Klopp has been at Liverpool, what now? 7 years, isn't it? 7 years. Yeah. And
7th year.
I look at the team he came out, he took over, or Brendan Rodgers. Everyone forgets, I think, we had an attack of Barini, Lambert and Balotelli, Benteke, Emre Can in the middle, Lucas in the middle, Lallana on the left. I mean, it weren't. Klein was a good right back, to be fair, but he had that to start with, and what he's done, the team we got now, I think it's incredible. But the word backing, Steve, I don't get it. I just want someone to explain what they mean by Klopp being backed, because that's all I ever hear. If Klopp was backed properly, we would be beating City to everything. If they don't back him properly, he's been underwhelmed. We've got a generational manager. So I just want to know what the word backing means in your eyes, personally, as well.
Yeah. Well, to me, anyway, Klopp and the scouting staff will all identify which players they want. Klopp will go up to the board and say, I want X, Y, and G player, X, Y, and Z players, for example. And then the board will either say yes or no. Basically, that's the way I'm looking at it anyway, to obviously back them. But I mean, if we're going to get on to sort of FSG, which I'm sure we'll get on very, very soon, but in my eyes, it is always these players get scouted for 2-3 years, and it's players that Klopp will want, and he'll go, well, I want Jude Bellingham, I want such and such, and then he'll go, right, you can have this player. It's all got to be sustainable, isn't it, at the end of the day? But I think he has been backed to some degree, but not in the eyes of obviously like the oil riches of Manchester City and to Chelsea. Because look at Man City, when they needed a left back, he got a 50 million left back. Obviously, he's in jail at the minute, so that's no good. They obviously got another right back in Cancelo. They got Walker for 50 million. Diaz, Stones. They've got so many riches. You just got a never-ending checkbook. We've had to. You forget though when players like the Manes, the Salahs, they were all decent players, but they weren't world class. He turned people from average players to world class players. Let's be honest. He's that good of a coach. I mean, we were a selling club at one point, but now players want to come to Liverpool. It's like Liverpool was a stopgap club at one point, wasn't it? Where you played for Liverpool and then you went to Barcelona, Real Madrid afterwards. Now, Liverpool isn't a stopgap destination. It's a team where all the best players in the world would love to play under Klopp, and he's just worked absolute miracles. But he has been backed when he needed players. I mean, look at the Coutinho money. All that money realistically got invested back in the squad with being able to sign Van Dijk and Alisson. So he has been backed, but let's face it, not to the extent of what Manchester City and Chelsea owners would do. But we haven't got the facilities to do that. So he's a world-class manager. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, I mean, like I go to John next, and like you're saying there, being like Manchester City they pay striker prices for fullbacks.
Yeah.
So you can't really compete with that on that level,
No.
John, can you? So, John, what's your opinion, mate? I know you've got mixed feelings about it. So
he's back to a certain degree.
yeah.
He certainly wasn't back last January. He was crying out for a defender, and what did he get? Cat back and Ben Davis.
Yeah.
Last day of the transfer window, he was crying for a centre back from the very beginning of that transfer window. He wanted a centre back. He wasn't back, and I understand. Right, Steve said we get the Coutinho money, so we're saying Van Dijk and Ali. Right, that's Coutinho money. When the owners ever went into their own pockets and went, right, we're going to back you. The owners have never went into their own pockets. Even the likes of the stadium, they loaned us the money. We need to pay that money back to the owners. So they're paying for the stadium. John Henry isn't paying for the stadium. The stadium, the training ground, he didn't pay for the training ground. AXA paid for that. So I don't see where he's been properly fully backed.
Fair point. It's a fair point. It's what it's all about on debates like this, and I get that. Herschel's comment here. Look at all the best. Would love to play for Klopp at FSG. Would never give them the funds for those that are the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Savage. A lot of people bring up some decent points. What's your opinion on it?
I'm a little bit split on it, to be honest. I know it's hard because we live in like a time where we've got so much information. Sometimes a little bit too much, to be honest, because it turns us all into businessmen and accountants and
Accountant FC.
Yeah, without like insulting anyone's intelligence, these are billionaires. So when it comes to working business-wise, they're working on a different level. So some of the stuff that we say, I'm guessing to the owner sounds very simplified. And in their head, they're just like, I think I mentioned it on Jamie's chat the other day. So I'll break it down to two different points. You can see it from the fan point of view. We all love Liverpool and we want whoever owns us to love the club as well and to treat us like they're a fan and invest money when they can from what we've earned and then sometimes from their own pocket. But the problem is, and I've come to terms with it a while ago because we're all knowledgeable to know that FSG, Fenway Sports Group, John Henry's not a fan of Liverpool. Like, don't get me wrong, of course he's come around to being more of a fan because you would do it's your own investment, but they are baseball fans.
Yeah,
this is, if you ask any other owner or people who have failed at owning businesses, they'll say, don't buy a football club if you want to make money because you'll just lose money. The thing is, FSG are smart guys and they've found a way how to reinvest in the club and make stuff better, refurb things. make it sustainable, and
Yeah.
make a little bit of profit on top. And as a business, they've done it damn near perfect. To do that, they've had to get the best in the world at certain situations. They would have saw stuff that even like top chairmen and stuff wouldn't even have seen. That's why they went and got Klopp specifically, because if you look at Germany, Dortmund are like, they are us but German. Like everything to do with them, the way they are, the way their fans are, the way that the clubs ran. If you look at what Klopp's doing at Liverpool, it's no different to what he did at Dortmund. I'm sure you guys know the prices he got Goethe and Lewandowski and all these players from.
Yeah.
None of them were world class. We only know them guys because of Klopp. And when it comes to Liverpool, yeah, we don't know these guys because of Klopp, but they're only world class now on the Klopp's tutelage.
Yeah.
We've signed one world class player in Thiago, and I know people are going to say Van Dijk wasn't world class before, because everyone would have said while he was at Southampton, he's going to have to prove himself at the top level, Champions League and everything. You can probably argue Alisson, but even then, he was playing for Roma. We destroyed him the season before. So no one can give me a world-class player that we've already brought. So for them, they're like, everything we've done so far has worked. It's just that it's coming to the end of a cycle where the players that he turned into world-class players are on their way out now. And everyone, I think all Liverpool fans, including me a little bit, are a little bit scared of going back to how it used to be. Because now we're like, we trust Klopp, but at some point, surely he's going to get it wrong. Or at some point, surely the scouting system are going to think this player's great. We're going to spend some money on him and it's going to go wrong. So why don't we just go after talent that's already shored up in certain positions, already firing? And I'm sure we will do. It's just that it won't be, I don't know, like a Benzema type player. Or, I mean, Lewandowski could happen, or who knows. But I'm looking at the squad now and I'm seeing people like Nkunku and stuff like that. And I know that everyone's probably interested around Europe, but that's the kind of player I'd go for. He's almost the equivalent to what, probably a bit better, but to what Jota was at Wolves. It's just that he's in a different league. So obviously the numbers are a bit more inflated. But when you look at the style of players we brought and the fact that Diaz, I know everyone keeps talking about Mane's replacement. Me and Jamie spoke about this. Diaz is Mane's replacement. Mane wasn't a number 9 before this season. He was on the left wing and the left wing's been replaced. It's more to replace what's going to happen with Bobby going eventually and the fact that he's slowing down, and then Salah's contract on the right-hand side. But I'm not FSG in or out. I'm not one of them. It's kind of pointless to me because they run our club, and us in fans do this FSG out thing before we had Diaz, when we had a terrible season last season. And all of a sudden they brought him, and then everyone was like flip-flopping. And I was like, well, if you care that much and it's bothering you that much and you can't be just switching that quick. Because you start sounding like Man U fans where they protest and then they get Ronaldo and Sancho and everyone give up on the protest.
Yeah.
And then they realised, oh, they're actually crap. Let's protest again. So I don't want to end up like that. But for me, like I said, as a fan, of course, we want people to care more. But business-wise, it just ain't going to happen, man. If it makes sense for business, it makes sense, man. That's how I see it, man. They're pretty much Vince McMahon in it, but running Liverpool. If it's best for business, releasing all of WWE's best wrestlers in the last 2 years, and they're making more money now than they ever have. So as a fan, I'm mad that all my wrestlers are gone, but they're still making more money than they ever have. So
that's a very good point.
Surely, what's better for business is to bring in the top players to win stuff. If you're not,
they don't care about winning stuff. I don't think, I think top 4, as long as they've got a team to get top 4.
It's all the money. I
think that's what the aim is.
About money on there. That's
Stubbs is right. That's why they wanted the Super League.
Yeah,
because it would have been perfect for them. So
they just want to sign someone who they can get on a cheap. When I say cheap, it's like 30 to 40 million. Turn them into a world-class superstar, and then obviously sell them on for a profit. And I think this is partly the reason why I think Klopp signed a new deal, because I think Klopp is, I would have thought, in the background being promised funds, especially when we all know that Salah, Mane and Bobby have all got a year left on his contract. He probably, before he even agreed on this new contract, he would have said, right, obviously Mane is going to be going and Salah are going to be going.
Yeah.
We need the money to replace them and try and get the money in now, and then get the likes of a Darwin Núñez or an Nkunku, whoever it may be.
There must be money there available, because apparently we were interested in Haaland. Apparently we're on the phone. And
I don't think we're
Mbappe,
ever interested
so there's
in
money
him.
there.
I don't think we're ever interested in him, to be honest.
Go on, Steve.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but yeah, I think that's the reason why Klopp's signed a new deal. We don't go for people who are already superstars, as Savage has said.
Yeah.
We go for people who have got potential, and then Klopp's job is to turn them into world-class superstars. And then 9 times out of 10, he's done that.
I think Klopp enjoys it as well, you know. I don't think it's all on FSG when it comes to that.
The challenge
I think he enjoys that.
You can't imagine any other manager doing a job what Klopp's done. Pep couldn't do it. He couldn't come to Liverpool because he wouldn't be able to spend the money that what Klopp's had. He would not be able to do it. This is why he's far superior to any of the managers out there at this moment in time.
Do you guys reckon that in Klopp's the contract that he's just signed, of course you're going to want reassurances and stuff, but I don't think Klopp's reassurances are the same as any other manager. If you look at where he's come from with Mainz and then Dortmund, and the fact that Bayern Munich were taken, I reckon his assurance is, don't let these big clubs just take my players off me. Just don't allow that to happen. Yeah. And make sure that when I want to find somebody, I'll find someone within the means of what we can spend. But you just make sure you get them for me. And then they would have said to him, this is the kind of money we can spend. If it's like a certain circumstance where another club's pushing us for a certain much, then you're going to have to tell us what player to get rid of, so we can add money on to the top of it. Because the way I see Klopp is, without being disrespectful, if you have a girl who's been treated bad by loads of different boyfriends, and all her best friends just keep taking her boyfriend off her, when she gets a relationship with a good guy, he doesn't have to do much to make her happy. You just got to not cheat on her and make sure he buys her flowers on Valentine's Day, and she'll be sweet. And that's what Klopp is, because he's not asking for the world, is he? He's not asking for the car and stuff. He's like, listen, treat me right, don't cheat on me, and I'll be here forever. So, I think it's Klopp's doing, man.
I'm just going to get through some of these comments, and I've got a question to ask. Let me just get through some of these comments. Klopp is seriously being wasted, even not one out of cash. Us getting Ben Davies had to be a social experiment there.
Oh dear.
Please hit like, up and subscribe. Big up Ravi. Big up Jamie. Like and subscribe to these legends. Channel notifications. Big up Niall. Big up to all the lads. Keep up the content, Jamie. It really provides a form of therapy after the
Oh.
Dog agrees as well. Sorry, you while listening. That's all right. It's great paying big money for big players, but you're paid more for every signing, higher wages, and before you know it, the tickets will go up and your kits. Remember to subscribe to Statman as well. Yeah, I'll get everyone's things. Don't worry, guys, they won't be forgot. Actually, any mods out there, if any of the mods in the chat right now, go and put links to Stephen Savage's YouTube channels in the chat, guys.
I've got to be on my best behaviour tonight anyway after last week, so
guys, put their messages in the live chat, guys. Put their things in the live chat, guys. Any mods that can do that, I'd appreciate it. My only criticism of FSG is they can be too frugal and strict at times with the wage structure. At least being willing to compromise sometimes. 200k is a top wage. The way football's going seems a bit low. I agree. I'll get to that. Faxes. Gary, hi Jamie. You've seen Trent has upset England fans by not singing the anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Ain't it?
Did Conor Cody sing it?
Oh, okay. Probably not. But Trent,
hey, leave him alone, man.
I just don't get it. I don't sing the national anthem because I don't know the words.
Neither do I.
So I don't really care. I mean, it's so pathetic, ain't it? It really is. It's a club to us, but a business at the end of the day. Exactly. Keep the book straight, spend right, and with club success will come, says Ricky. Big member on the channel. Big up, Ricky. And that, unfortunately, football is football to us, but to everyone else, it is a business, unfortunately. Because Trent knows the truth about the royal family, as most people with eyes.
Well said, Chris. Well said.
Savage speaking the language I like to call Actos. I wish we were a fan-based club, or I don't know about fan-based clubs. You're looking at Germany.
Yeah, Germany,
And everyone can't do anything about it because they can't be overtaken. So Bayern Munich can never be overtaken in Germany because Dortmund can't sell to like an oil baron, and then the next season they just buy out everyone and come here. And it can't. I don't think it works personally. I really don't.
It's mad. I now realise why Dortmund fans were so sad when Klopp left. I really realise it now. When I didn't care about Klopp that much then, did I? So, but they knew.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to know how to compare with wages when bonuses and sponsorships are factored in. Yeah, that's the thing. We're going to get to the wages and all that in a bit.
Yeah.
Chris spot on. Liverpool need another 9. Yeah. We need a midfielder. Our midfielders never come up with goals. That I do agree with.
That's a fact.
Salah and Mane are the bulk of our goals. Mane is leaving. That's 20 plus goals. That is leaving. Salah can't do it on his own. I agree.
Yeah, very true.
Man, like Houndsy. Question for the panel: how do we involve this team? So squad, we have 8 midfielders. How many have to leave for players to come in? Well, that's a good question. Right. I'll star that question, and so we can come back to it so I can remember it and give it to the panel. Proud of chat, annoying people. Yes. Nunez to replace Origi, Gnabry to replace Mane, and Bellingham to replace Nkunku, and to replace Keita and Ock, says Helen. And the members in the house, big up to all the members. Nkunku will wash away pain. Klopp will make him the next Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
A striker must be first. Ian says a nice background, Jamie. Thank you. Yeah, I've seen this link today. Tammy Abraham. No.
No, thank you.
Yeah, Jamie, that's come from the Twitter video, innit? Have you seen the Twitter video?
No, whoever started
he's not coming here. He's not.
No,
I watched Mourinho talk about him just before the final, and he ain't going anywhere.
They love him at Roma, and I'd rather keep Origi if that was the case, to be absolutely fair. And take here for a minute. Well, right, let's see. Right, guys, I'll get some more of your comments in a second because there's a load of them. So I just want to keep the debate going. We've got Andrew in the house as well, and he's seen her get up. Don't know how to feel about that. Andrew.
Do you know what? It's like because obviously the other day was his 20th anniversary, wasn't he? When he first started. That's why I'm just wearing it for tonight. So also obviously Hell in a Cell tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. The 3 players that I really want to see, at Liverpool: Nunez, Gavi from Barca. I know people are saying Gnabry, they don't want Gnabry, but I like to see what he can do under Klopp.
I want him.
Yeah.
He's
still young.
You've seen what he did against Spurs with Bayern. He tore them apart. 4 goals.
He can finish as well, can't he?
Yeah.
I'll take him or Sane, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the Gnabry, we'll get to the Gnabry thing in a minute because that has come up the last 24 hours and it's an interesting one to look at. But one thing about the Haaland deal, I hear that like Liverpool are not a serious club; they weren't in for Haaland, but neither were Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Bayern Munich. You know, why is it always Liverpool? At the end of the day, it's not just his transfer valuation. That's the problem. You know, was it 75 million euros? Which was what, 60 million pounds?
68 million.
That's not the problem. His wages are 400. His wages are 400 grand a week, and then the money that went to his agent and his father was more than the transfer fee. So with that all in that and wages, you're looking at around 200 million pounds for the Haaland deal, and that is why Man City were the only ones really go for it. PSG don't really need him at the moment. Real Madrid were always after Mbappe because he's probably, he's the option they wanted. And that's why he went to Man City. Simple as that. There's no way in hell Liverpool will go do that deal. Yeah, they were interested in him. But when you hear the money that the agent and his dad were getting, the transfer fee, the wages in it all over years, you're looking over 200 million pounds. And that is a lot of money on someone who's still not smashed it at a big team yet, in my opinion. Look, Borussia Dortmund are actually a better team before Haaland turned up, by the way. They were actually a better team before Haaland turned up. Haaland is always going to be a gamble in the Premier League, in my opinion. He's very injury prone. He has a lot of muscle injuries. I've always said it, he's a big lad. He's like 6'4". He's a big lad. And he carries a bit of weight as well. And when you're in the Premier League, it's getting injuries in Germany. It's always a bit of a worry. But City can afford that, guys. This is the problem. We talk about AXA helping out to buy the training centre, the loan to help buy the stadium. When we look at Man City, all their money is sports washing. So, you know, what's worse in your, you know what I mean? City got #1 in revenue in the world, right? #1. They got the smallest fan base. They beat out Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, your Milans, your Ajaxes for revenue, for commercial revenue. They got a tiny, tiny fan base. You can't.
And we just had a pandemic.
Yeah, and we had a pandemic as well. And they don't have fans as it is. So with a pandemic, they're staying at home. So commercial, and look, their stadium, their shirt sponsors, all owned by the same bloke who owns the club. It's all. You can't compete with that. No matter what FSG do, you can't compete with that. At the same time, Jack Grealish, £100 million player, came to their team, scored 2 goals and 2 assists, and no one blinks an eye. No one blinks an eye because they all know, Man City will they add to it next season because they got unlimited funds. Jack Grealish was at Liverpool, only had 2 assists and 2 goals all season. The abuse Jack Grealish will get.
Yeah.
The abuse Liverpool will get. Oh, it's a flop. Look at Lukaku with Chelsea. And Chelsea got money back then. And he's getting all the grief. But no one's talking about Jack Grealish, really. All the money, everyone's talking about Lukaku. He's $3 million cheaper. Yeah, he's terrible. We all know he's terrible. Man United fans try to warn him. But, but City can do what they... Look, for me, I think we need to now buy established stars. I think we're at that position as a club now, in my opinion, where I think we need to start buying the superstar players into the team. So FSG need to sort themselves out in that. What we were doing under Klopp till now, in my opinion, was the correct way we were going. Yeah. Buying the sort of players we were buying. And by the way, when we bought Mo Salah, I remember a lot of people saying, why are we buying Mo Salah? Yeah. When we was in for him. And everyone was going, why are we buying Mo? Why are we buying Mo? He was useless at Chelsea. He's not been great at Roma. 35 million. And now 6 years later, all calling him the best in the world. Yeah. Sadio Mane. People were saying, why are we buying Sadio Mane from... I remember I got a mate who's an Arsenal fan. Been mates with him forever. I said, what do you think of the Sadio Mane deal when we bought him that summer? He said, he's okay, but 30-odd million. I don't know about that. There'd be better players out there. And now he was one of the best left wingers in the world for his time at Liverpool. So we got I see Ramsey. We're in for Ramsey at Aberdeen. Now, people are going, well, that's not much of a transfer. What's that when Man City are going to spend 80 million on some other left back, Brighton or something like that? And you look at Ramsey at Aberdeen, he's very Trent-esque with his passing. I've been looking at him. The man's got pinpoint crossing, good passing technique. Yeah. He's very Trent-esque. He's very He's the fullback we sort of play with. And so that's good business. And remember, Robbo come from Hull and turned into one of the best left backs in world football. So I think football snobbery still exists in a higher way. Yeah. But we're at a stage now, I think, where we've developed really well. We've got the main squad, and the main squad's good. And now we need to add to it. Salahs and your Manes are always going to leave Liverpool eventually. It's always going to happen. No one stays forever. Ian Rush. God, if Twitter was around when Ian Rush left for a year, Jesus Christ. Ian Rush, our best ever striker, left for a year to go to Juventus. We went and got John Aldridge in from Oxford United. Could you imagine doing this now? We went and got John Aldridge in from Oxford United, and in 18 months, he scored over 100 goals at Liverpool Football Club. It's crazy. Yes. And then we brought Rushy back because he realised, there's no place like home. And he tried the Italians. But could you imagine social media back then? It'd be like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? But I do agree with some people's points. I really do. My one I get annoyed with is when the backing department. I don't know what. We can't keep saying we got the best in the world in this position, best in the world in that position, best in the world in that position, and then say he's not backed. Because that's not completely true. Agreed. The time when that January when we needed a defender, that is the only time I've seen Jurgen Klopp angry with the board. I've never seen Jurgen Klopp angry with the board ever, but in that time he was angry. He wanted Koulibaly. We all know he wanted Koulibaly. Personally, I've never been a big fan of Koulibaly.
Yeah,
I like him.
I think he's a little overhyped.
Wouldn't have been able to get it from Napoli anyway, man. They trap their
and
players, bro.
He's still there now. If he was that great, someone would have come in and blown the water out and just got him, in my opinion.
yeah.
But I think FSG always wanted to buy Konate. They always had the plan of buying Konate. Because you look how quick that transfer happened. You know, it was way before the transfer even transfer thingy started. We were in for Konate.
Yeah, I think it was something to do with the Champions League, you know.
Yeah, because he was still in the Champions League, they couldn't buy him in January.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The rules. That was in his thing. We couldn't actually buy him. So FSG were like, you know what? Konate's the player we want, and we're going to hold out for him. So let's try and make do this season, and then we'll go for him in the August. Now a lot of people were like, okay, that's fine, we understand that, but we still need another defender now.
Yeah,
and I think that's where people's things come from, like John and people like that. Are like, no, we still needed a player, so we've got that player in. Get Konate as well. But then FSG will go there, but then we've got an overloading defence when we come into the new season. And we don't want to get rid of certain players. And I think we have an attachment as a club to players. I think I've heard Jamrock say it before on the channel. We want all these players to come to the club, but at the same time, we also don't want to let players go. So you can't hold players. Like, I love Hendo. He's coming up, I think he's 31 now, and he's going to be 32. There's going to be a time when Hendo might need to move on. I love Milner. He's 37.
Don't say that. Don't. That's captain. Don't.
Yeah, but there might be a time to move on. But this is what I'm saying, John. This is what I'm saying. Everyone wants a number 8 midfielder who's going to break the box and get into goals, but we're not willing to let go of a lot of players in that area.
But Hendo becomes a new Milner.
No, I'd let Milner go. Yeah, I'd let Milner go. I'd also think I'd let Naby Keita go as well. I wouldn't sign Naby
Ox
Keita.
is obviously going to be going as well, isn't
I'd
he?
let Ox go. I'd let Ox go, Naby go, and I would let who have I said? Naby, Ox, and Milner go. I'd let them 3 go, and I'd also think about letting Curtis Jones go out on loan because he's just not getting the game time, and it's not fair to him. And then you go out and get that number 8 that you really want in midfield area. Then you got the forward area. We all know what's happening with Sadio. We're going to get onto that in a minute. But from them points, Steve, how do you feel about, you know, what I've said there? Any debate about it? Anything you want to say about it? Let me know.
I just think, I mean, I'm neither FSG or in or FSG out. I think, like Savage has said, they're our owners. We've got to back them. Yes, obviously, it's more of a business to them than obviously getting the players in. They want to just make it a success. But I mean, if you look at the previous owners that we had in Hicks and Gillette, basically got us near enough into administration. You can't always. I mean,
sorry, Ricky, subscribe to you. There you go.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you. So I mean, you can't always have it your own way. Unfortunately, I mean, if we still had Hicks and Gillette, would we have still even be talking today about Liverpool Football Club? You know what I mean? We might not even be here. So I mean, I think yes, they've done lots of decent things. They've obviously done a few bad things. Obviously, when COVID hit, and they obviously wanted to go through furlough stuff like that. But I think all in all, we've got some real decent owners. They know the philosophy. They want to try and make the club sustainable, which is they're doing that, and they're not going out and buying 150 million pound players. Because if you just ask yourself a question, if you went out and bought a 150 million pound player, striker for example, but then got another striker for 20 million who scored 20 goals, they both scored 20 goals each. What's the better deal for me? That someone we've signed for 20 million and has scored the same amount of goals as a 150 million pound player. It works and it swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? But for me, I'll always back whoever the owners are of Liverpool Football Club. I will always back them because we all love Liverpool Football Club. That's why we're here, and we want to see Liverpool be as successful as we are already and more. Champions League, hopefully another final next season to come. We obviously know what happened last time we got beat by Real Madrid in a final. So, I mean, we can't be disappointed. I mean, these owners are fantastic, to be honest, and we've just got to give them the credit where credit's due. They've done well for the club, and long may it continue.
Agreed.
Rod's the link's at the top of the chat, mate. At the top of the chat. I'm going to take that to his brother Nicky. Yeah, it's at the top of the chat, Rods. Go on, John. Your thoughts, my friend?
I totally disagree. If we lose Mane this summer, if Salah goes on free next season and we don't invest big, questions need to be asked of FSG.
Yeah, I agree.
Serious questions need to be asked. The pitchforks are going bad for them.
Do you not think that we'll invest that money though, John? If just say theoretically, if we sell, I don't know, Mane for what 35, 40 million, and if Salah does go, which I hope he doesn't, for say, I don't know, 50 million, 60 million, because I don't think we're going to get 100 million from with what.
I don't think we'll sell Salah. I think he goes on free.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think he's going to go on next season. He's already saying he's staying next season.
Yeah, Salah's done it a bit. The Salah things. Like, I saw people.
We're fucked.
Hello.
John, are you still drunk from last weekend, mate?
If Salah leaves, no, think about it. If Mane leaves this summer, Salah leaves next summer on free, does Van Dijk start asking questions about where the club's heading? Does Ali start asking questions? Does Flacco? Does Jada? Let's go wrong really quick.
I think just as a club, we've just it's one of them. I mean, look what happened when we all thought Torres, when Torres left, we were like, oh, what we're going to do? We went and replaced him. The same with Suarez. We went and replaced him. There's no one bigger than the club. I think
you're talking about two players that can score 30 goals a season.
Oh, it definitely. We'll miss that, and I think whatever money we get, it will be reinvested in the squad. And I think it's just that the likes of what Mo, Mane, and Bobby are all the wrong side of 30 now, or near enough 30. So we're going to have to evolve, and we're going to have to get younger players in, and that's what will come. I think for me personally, anyway. But I may be wrong. I don't know what.
We need to give Sani his Sani. We need to give Mo his contract. Give him 350 grand a week, including bonuses.
Including bonuses.
I don't think do that because that's that wage structure, isn't it? I think for me, there just needs to be a wage cap all around in the Premier League. I think Helen said it spot on. There's people starving in this, well, not just this country, but all around the world.
There is football, but you know football's like.
Yeah, I know. I don't agree with it personally. Me, I think there should be a wage cap. I think although it's a fantastic sport and we all love it, I really do think there should be that wage cap in place. And I think I know there was some players who were given 1% of the wages to charities and stuff like that. I'd like to see more of that.
But you can't just in the Premier League. You need to
know.
All leagues.
On the wage thing, I've just heard. Look, it's a reporter from the Barcelona president has told everyone at Barcelona to take a 50% pay cut to balance the books. This is the problem we have.
Yeah.
Barcelona are paying checks they could not afford to keep up with Real Madrid. Real Madrid are owned by the King of Spain. They got money wherever. You know, if Real Madrid need a few quid, they find it. Don't you guys worry about that.
Yeah.
They will find it. Barcelona had to do what they did. They paid checks they couldn't afford. And now they're in massive trouble.
Yeah.
The problem Liverpool have, if they do exactly the same thing and bring that wage structure up too high and start paying the players that we feel should be on that wage structure, we will be in Barcelona-esque trouble in a few years' time because we're doing it to try and keep up with Man City. Now, with the wage structure, I do believe the wage structure just needs fixing a little bit. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to do it.
No.
I think they could move the wage structure up to that 300k barrier. So the top earner in our club gets 300 and not a penny more. 300k a week. Now, what Salah is asking for apparently would make him the 7th highest paid footballer in Europe. Now, I think everyone thinks everyone around Europe is on 300 and 400 grand a week everywhere, which is not really the case. It's just a handful of talent. Yes, agents will do agents' jobs because that's what the job of the agent. So they go, look, Jadon Sancho only went to Man United last season. He's on 350 grand a week. But that shouldn't be Liverpool Football Club's problem.
No.
Because now with Jadon Sancho, when it comes up doing his contract in a couple of years' time, when he wants a new contract, he can't go up. You know, what is he going to go 400 grand a week when he's not performing? Like, that's what they just done with Bruno Fernandes, because they brought him in on a high contract and gave him a new one because they're afraid of losing him, and now he's on ridiculous wages. So you've got to look at the money Man United. I've always said I don't think it's a money thing personally for transfers. Man United have spent £1.2 billion, and
look where they are.
Man City, and look where they are. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in his time at Man United, at 3 years here with Man United, he spent £400 million. And there's not a lot of sales in that either. Man City are now having to sell players that actually balance the books a little bit because UEFA are looking at them, so they say. So they're actually trying, that's why they're trying to get rid of, apparently Sterling's going, Gundogan's going. There's going to be players that are actually going to leave because Man City don't ever sell players. They just let them leave at the end of their contract. Money's not an option to them. But even now, even Man City are looking at it now. Even Man City are looking at it. So, yeah, it's a mad one. It's a mad one. But I'll get Savage's point on this.
I agree with Stops, to be honest. There's a few different points on this. And by the way, if Barcelona's got to take a pay cut, then PK is going to be out on the streets, man, because you have to pay Shakira divorce money. He already paid. He already took a wage. He took a wage cut for finger, didn't he? For the pie when they brought him in last year.
He was the one.
He's gonna see homeless PK, man. He's gonna have to start hip shaking and that. But
yeah, stop lying, though, blood. Stop lying, though.
Stubbs is right, and I do know we live in the bubble of football, so I do understand that money's a little bit different there. But at the same time, we did just come out of a pandemic, and it seems like money's got worse. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't expect this. I thought he would have. If there was any time to bring in, even if it's not a cap, but certain clubs bringing down lower wages and that, you wouldn't think it's going to be straight after a pandemic and the money's gone up. But with Liverpool, the thing is, Jay, I kind of agree with you with the wages budging a little bit, but I would agree if there wasn't already bonuses.
Yeah,
and the bonuses wasn't. Yeah, the bonuses what Liverpool have reportedly, because I don't know 100%, but they're like the most obtainable bonuses around, like especially for the players they are. Yeah. So if it's people like Salah, it's goal bonuses, it's appearance bonuses, which is always going to get. I think when 2018, his bonuses were about 2.5 million a year or something like that, added up, and he was always going to get them because they're just going to go off the trajectory of how he's played. He's been 20 plus a year, so of course it's going to have something to do with that. He's hardly ever injured. To be fair, it might have something to do with why his face is always sad when he has to come off the pitch, man, because he's like, listen, my bonus, bro. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I feel like we've had FSG for so long now that I've got used to the way the clubs run, and I just kind of like the structure, to be honest. Like, it's always going to be hard for us to get my head around about people asking for more money than when they're on such big money already. People like Genie and stuff, I understood a little bit more. Yeah. Because he was on little money anyway. Yeah. There was people who were not playing the stuff who were on way more money than him. He watched like Naby and all that come in and get more money than him. So I understand people like that. But for people like Salah, I don't know, man. And I know that like being age 31 or whatever is not a death sentence. You know what I mean? People take care of themselves a lot more than they did back in the day. Benzema, Lewandowski, Ronaldo and all that were all like 3-4 years older than Salah and Mane anyway, so I understand that. But at the same time, there's a process in, and these lot are looking at just the way players, their improvements and falling off it's not linear in it, so they're watching it go up and down, and it's starting to drop off even more now. And you're asking somebody to pay more for, it's like me paying more for an Xbox, but the fan keeps going every now and again. Whereas before it was running perfectly before. It's like yeah, I love my Xbox and that, but I'd rather just buy a new one. I'd rather just let that one die and buy a new one, and that's what.
Or a PlayStation Savage.
Never, but but that's kind of what's happening. It's like they're at the crossroads now with these two, because it's like with Mane, he's saying he wants to leave, so for them it's like it's an easier job for us. We replaced him with Diaz already. We were slowly trying to get him out of the squad. I think everyone's forgetting it a little bit because of AFCON. Mane wasn't great before AFCON, and Jota was, and he was scoring all the goals. Diaz came in January. Ox was on the right, and he done well in January. So for them, it's like like I said to you guys before, it's proven to FSG even more now. They're like, we thought we'd struggle more, but we won every game in January. We didn't really struggle to win the games. Now let's look across Europe. We've got Klopp for this reason. We've sat in this group now and spared off all these different names. Certain people I'm looking at and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a Klopp player. Like, Gnabry's a kind of a Klopp player, and then Cuckoo's kind of a Klopp player. They got the right attitude in football as well. We've just watched Jota come in and score 20+ goals. And by the way, everyone finished the season saying Jota weren't playing that well as well, but he's got 20+ goals. Yeah. I think he scored more than Mane last season. So for me, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm going to trust them, and I'm going to trust Klopp, because he wouldn't have signed a new contract otherwise.
Yeah.
And it can go wrong, of course. But I think if you ask FSG, if they've got like a mood board out there and they've got pros and cons of players, and they go throughout the Premier League and pick all the different players that people have brought in that were names already, and how many times it's failed compared to the players that Klopp's brought in and haven't failed. Like, without any disrespect, the only person who I'm disappointed with that Klopp's brought in and not done enough is Keita. That's literally the only person. Yeah. Because all the rest of them's kind of done what I expected. I don't know if people thought more of Minamino, but I didn't. They got him for a small wage. I mean, a small price. And the fact is, he's top goal scorer in FA Cup and League Cup anyway.
10 goals
They've
in
got
10 games, yeah.
like Sancho, Pogba, Werner, Lukaku, Lacazette, Pepe. You can go through the whole league, and there's in all the top clubs, there's all these players that have failed. And then you go through ours, and Jota, Diaz, Mane, Salah, like all these players who we didn't pay that much for in the first place. That wasn't already world class. No one was raving on about them apart from Virgil. And yeah, look what's happened. So it's one of them. I don't disagree with what anyone's saying. I just can't do the reactionary thing. And the fact is, the new season hasn't even started yet. We haven't even got through the summer.
Transfer window's not even open.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I get that. It looks like Mane is going now, but by the time we get to the new transfer window, the new season, we could have another player in number 9 or whatever like that. But I don't ever think we're going to get out on that number 9. Though. I know everyone thinks that we should get one. I agree, but I just think it's not going to happen. I don't think it's Klopp's way, and I don't think it's FSG's way. I think that's kind of what they rely on, is somebody who could versatile players, so they can keep switching people around. You get an out and out number 9 and he gets injured, then their whole system goes up and they ain't paying more money for another one. So otherwise, we'll just keep Origi.
No, good comments, man. Good comments. Yeah. So before I get everyone else in, I just want to say there's 300 people watching right now, guys. So please go
hit the like button, boys.
Go and hit the like button, guys. Go and subscribe if you've not subscribed. And I'll put everyone's links into the chat after this video, guys. But if any of the mods are in the channel right now, go and get Savages, Doug's, Rod's, and Statman's YouTube channels and copy and paste them in the live chat, guys, so people can go and sub to them that way as well. Let me so Jamrock with a super chat. Big up Jamrock, I really do appreciate. We need to buy players a year before they become stars. Problem is the club don't want to take their risk, and no, all the fan base hates those signings. I sort of agree with that. Before I get to everyone else's opinion, because I remember when everyone said, why didn't we go and buy Jude Bellingham when he was at Birmingham? I can guarantee you right now, we went and bought a 17-year-old kid from Birmingham. A lot of the fan base would be like, what are you doing? You know, I can guarantee you right now. Now they see him at Borussia Dortmund a lot. Why didn't we go and get him? So you can't win in some ways. What I want to do, I'm just going to change it up a little bit because Rods is in the house, Doug is in the house. I want to get their opinions as well. So this summer, we'll go with Rods first. We'll go round to Doug, then we'll go to Andrew, and we'll go back round all the way round back to Steve. So this summer, Rods, do you believe this is FSG's biggest ever summer since they were Liverpool owners?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Just like to say first, good evening to everybody. Good evening.
Shout out to you, Roger.
Good evening to you, my friend.
Hope everyone's had a good day. Also, I'd just like to mention one more thing. Alan Pardew, got to send a massive respect goes out to him.
Oh, what he did,
because,
yeah, big up.
Yeah, with the racism thing. With the racism thing, I think I've got to send a massive respect out to him because I think if more managers do that, maybe we might get a start in clearing up racism in football. Because racism in football has got no place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if more managers take that sort of like approach, we could get somewhere in fighting a good fight against racism. So enough respect goes out to Alan Pardew for what he's done. Also, I do think that it's our biggest summer. Do you know what I mean? I would like to see like an out striker come into the sort of like squad, because I think sometimes at the day we can get predictable with our wingers and stuff like that, and our attacking midfielders come strikers and stuff. I think certain times at the day there's games at the day that we actually need an out striker to actually sort of like penetrate the low block and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I would like to see more number 8s come into the sort of like system, buying number 8 instead of like central midfielders, like number 8, so they can flood the box and everything like that, and give these people that when they employ the low block no chance at all. Do you know what I mean? Whether we'll get that, I don't know, but I do honestly think this summer is a summer and a day to prove FSG to prove themselves, because we have proved at the day like we can get players at the day, make them into world-class players and everything like that. We've proved that. Do you know what I mean? Look at Trent Alexander. Do you know what I mean? Oh, all right, he had a lapse in concentration the other day in the Champions League and everything like that, but he's still world-class. In my box, he's still world-class on that. So we've taken these players and everything like that and turned them into something brilliant. Do you know what I mean? What I want now at the end of the day is a finished article. I want a finished article. Somebody's going to come in at the end of the day and just bang in those goals, or either sort of like be able to make that gameplay or such and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? Because I think when you got people like Keita at the end of the day, he's a good player, but it's hard to say. I don't want to disrespect Keita because I like him, but I just don't think he's good enough for our system. Do you know what I mean? Because he kind of like does the same as everybody else in the midfield. He's not giving you anything different. Do you know what I mean? And we brought him in for something different, but he's not giving that. Do you know what I mean? You know? Right. So I would like to see that midfield at the day, so more like attacking, more like get into that box. Stop slow passing, you know what I mean? The slow passing backwards, forwards, side to side. Stop that. Do you know what I mean? Because all it does at the end of the day is gives the opposition time to get their shape back again. Do you know what I mean? As we saw Real Madrid and everything that they went on attacking and everything that, and when they lost the ball, they just got back into shape again because Liverpool was slow with the pass and everything that. It's got to be much quicker. So I would like to see. You know what I said today, Jamie? I said in that picture today. I would like to see that. I would like to see that. Do you know what I mean? You know, Bellingham. Yeah, I would love to see that. Do you know what I mean? But I do actually think at the day it's FSG's biggest summer, and it's time for them to prove themselves.
We also got, so we'll get the Doug's opinion next, and then we'll get to Saint, and then we'll work up. How you doing, Saint? Hope you're doing well, mate.
I'm all good, bro. I'm all good.
You doing good, Saint?
Come on.
Good man. We'll get a Doug first, then we'll get to Saint, then we'll go to Andrew, work back round. So, Doug, my man, how are you, fella? How you been?
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all good. Also, let's get Saint to 1K as soon as possible, please.
Please,
Yeah, had to plug that in.
Thank you, Dougie, man. You're an absolute treasure, honestly. Touching distance, bro. I think I'm like, mate, I don't know, 60 something or something. It is honestly pittance, bro. It is mere pittance. But when I say that, mate, touching cloth like the Real Madrid game, but no, listen, thank you so much for that.
Nah,
Stop that, man. Stop that.
It's honestly just to do my obviously job to get more subscribers for you. Steve, nice to see you. You cheating bastard. John, you cheating bastard. Andrew, you cheating bastard.
You cheating bastard.
Oh, it's something that happened with something, but we won't go into it. It's funny though, funny story.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But I have to say, I've been listening to what you guys have been saying, and I don't begrudge Sadio Mane a move. I think he has won everything that he can at Liverpool, so he obviously needs a new challenge. I think the comments that he is saying, I think they've come a little bit out of context. There's no way he would ever mention the hierarchy. Not a chance he would ever mention the hierarchy. So I believe what he says about obviously the Senegal people want me to make my decision, and obviously that'll be soon. I think that was what he said. But the hierarchy thing, I think that can be completely made up. So about that, as far as FSG is concerned, yes, they have their flaws, but do you want to go back to the Hicks and Gillette?
No.
I do not want to go back there. We were seconds, probably minutes from going out of business, and if it hadn't been for Martin Broughton, we would have probably been, deceased as a football club. Now that is really, really sad to say, but when you actually look at it, that could possibly have happened. So I don't want to go back to those days. I like FSG with what they've done. I think they've done very, very good for the club. Yes, they have their flaws as well. Is it their biggest summer? I think in a way, it's always good to rebuild the team. It is always good to rebuild the team. The names I've seen that have been mentioned, I mean, Pulisic, I don't get that one. I honestly do not get that one. I know Pulisic wants to leave Chelsea. I think there's been very, very heavily said that he wants to leave Chelsea, but why now? And Klopp never goes back for a former player. We all know that. Lewandowski, don't think it's going to happen. I think he's Barca bound. I would love Lewandowski. I think he would be a very, very good player for us, but I don't know if he would fit our system. Tchouameni, I think he's away to Madrid. I think that's been publicised very, very much as well. Danjum is an interesting one. I won't lie, because we have been tracking him since his Bournemouth days, and I think if we were to get him, I think one of Minamino or Firmino are going to go. So we've already Origi gone. Minamino's going to be probably on the way out. I think Leeds are going to probably come in for him. And, to be honest, I think Leeds would be a very sensible move for Minamino. He goes back to the manager who's, got him to where he is as a footballer, Jesse Marsh. Brought him through at, RB Salzburg as well. Calvin Ramsey. I think Calvin Ramsey is a fantastic player, up and coming right back. Trent needs a rest. I saw him for England today against Hungary. Looked absolutely knackered. And the fact that they're playing these pre-season, Nations League games, whatever you want to say. And yes, I was happy Hungary won because obviously I'm a Scotsman. But the one thing I can say, that was a meaningless game. So people who are going out on Twitter saying, "Oh, Southgate out," or "Reece James has done this, done that," it's a meaningless game. It is a meaningless game. It's not the World Cup yet. I get that you're wanting to get fitness for the World Cup, but remember that the Premier League season is just finished. The Premier League season has just finished. Anyway, but Darwin Núñez, I think, is very, very possible. I have liked what I've seen for Darwin Núñez. If he can perform like he did for Benfica at Anfield, then I think we've got a really, really special player in there. Price tag is a little bit much, but we have seen in the past that we can get the price down, and I think we could potentially do that. But for people who are obviously wanting to leave Liverpool, it doesn't matter whose name is on the back of the shirt. This is the fucking badge. This is the fucking badge you play for. This is the fucking badge you play for. And nobody is bigger than the club. We've all seen that. If Salah wants his 400k elsewhere, then let him go. Let him go. it's always been said you do not have an unhappy player in your camp. If they're unhappy, just let them go.
Facts. Hey, big speech.
Well said, Doug, my man.
Well said, lad.
Saint, how you doing, fella?
What's going on, my guy? Listen, very, very quickly. This is a fleeting. This is a passing thing because Jamie knows, right? We had a little bit of miscommunication. I was all set up ready for yesterday, and it was today. I'm doing update night today, and it's peak, man, you know, like that. So I was like, listen, there's no way that I can't come and show my face and, you know what I mean, and share some time with the man then. But I'm so sorry, like, it's gonna have to be, you know what I mean, a quick one.
Where are you, man? Beijing, bro. You got some artificial sunshine going on. What's going on?
Brother, I'm in Scotland. Big up, Doug. Tell these man, I'm in Scotland, and we're doing that. Yo, sun's out, guns out.
Some geostorm shit going on, bro.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? 24 degrees today.
Before Saint adds his shout out, guys, there's 573 people watching right now, so please.
Bloody hell. Come on, lads. Like and subscribe.
Like the video, man. Don't be a bum. It's free.
Video, man. Come on, man.
Everything, guys.
Yeah, man. They want to go and mangy around here. Let's go mangy around here, fam.
You can join membership on the channel now as well and become a Team OG member as well, guys, for $1.99 a month. So, everyone interested in that, go and check it out as well. Saint, go for it, man. Is this FSG's biggest ever summer?
Right, okay, very quickly. Let me load up. Let me get out of it. It's unfortunate that I have to follow Doug, who is like, do you know what I mean? I have to follow that rousing speech. But big up my man Doug each and every time, man. And we are showing these lot that it does a little bit more than rain up in Scotland. I'm telling you, I was catching tans out here. So yeah, no, listen. Sadio Mane, very quickly, let's deal with that. Sadio Mane, love him, like absolutely love him. I don't begrudge him a move at all. I think he's done as well as anyone would have expected him to do. The thing is, yeah, I don't give a shit about the Senegalese people in it, and I say that with respect in it. Like I'm half Ghanaian, I'm half Trinidadian, I'm English. If I was a footballer, I wouldn't give a shit about none of them either. Do you understand? Like not one of them. Like I'm sorry, they were not with you shooting in the motherfucking gym. Sorry, can I swear, Jamie? Sorry, because it's going to be very passionate. So I am going to let off a couple F-bombs. Apologies. But listen, I don't care about any of them man there because it's Liverpool FC. Like, what are you talking about? Like when you're talking about like this is the type of shit that I don't like because you've done so well and now it's gonna taint, it's gonna tarnish the end of you being here. I don't want you coming out here talking stupidness about 60-70% of the poll. Did everyone in Senegal, do they have Twitter? Are they voting? Like is that a real real thing though? Like is that a real representation of the people in Senegal and what they care and what they think about your footballing career in England? What are you fucking talking about, brother? Fix up. Like it's just a joke thing. If you want to leave and you want to do your own thing, do that. Don't sit there and cry and try and nah, bro. I will slap you the dark part of my hand. I don't want to hear that shit. You were dead food for more than 12 months. Where were the Senegalese people there? And I've been one of the frontmost. Like honestly, I've been flying the flag. I've got a channel now, so you can go and see all of this is documented. Been telling people, bro, this guy is so humble, bro. I've actually told people on my channel that, yo, you know what? Imagine the irony. The way that he's treated by his Senegalese people is a shame. Prior to all of your national exploits that you've then gone and done, because they treated you like you was a second-class citizen. We've all seen the fucking documentary, rude boy. I've been telling people. Go and see Made in Senegal. Don't think that there isn't a 10-minute snippet where they're cornering you. Oh, he does it for Liverpool, but don't do it for us. But now you want to sit here and bread these man because you happen to have done something good. Like don't convolute the two subjects. You're a Liverpool player and you're looking to move for footballing reasons. Don't start mixing the two because you're going to make people like me very, very upset. Like we, as a Liverpool fan base, you had us choosing between our kids. You know them ones there, like, oh, Salah is up against Mane. And we absolutely, like, we gave you so much praise and stuff, like, when you won that. Now you want, it just seems like you're throwing it back in our face, and I don't like it. So that's my name. Shut your mouth. Stop talking. Like real talk. To be very honest with you, yeah, and it's not just you. It's not just you. It's not just you. Like there's a whole heap of people, my African dons, and I can say this. I'm half African. I'm Ghanaian, bro. You lot, you need to quieten down, brother. Stop the chat. Stop chatting. Like do things retrospectively. After you've done it, then you can chat. Do you know what I mean? Win us the fucking Champions League, then talk. I don't want to hear all this bullshit about, oh, I'm sorry, we should have brought we really wanted to bring it for you because you was doing up revenge talk beforehand. Shut up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just be quiet, play your football, and then we can do all of that afterwards. Have your move, and then talk about, listen, guys, you know, I know I've made 60% of the Senegalese people happy. Whatever you want to do, don't do it now, innit? Just shut up talking. It just, no, I'm not on it. Like, and I know we're the same fan base, or not the same fan base, but people that say, oh, we want footballers to be a little bit more, like, less robotic in that. But when it starts to be a little bit divisive within the fan base, like, know what you're saying, innit? Like, know what you're saying. Take some time, take some deep breaths, and just calm down, innit? Because you have been shocking. And was it not for Klopp who moved you into a position? Let's be honest. And this is no shade on Mane, as much as I love him. You still ain't getting in on no left wing. I don't care how resurgent. You're not getting in on no left wing, rude boy. So be quiet, bro. Just relax in it. Like, stop talking. Okay, that's that. What was next? FSG and this summer being the most important. They're the views of State NFC TV, by the way. Bro, this is me. Now, real talk, bro. Like, you know what you was getting when you invited me, bro. So this is what it is. This is probably why I haven't hit 1,000. You know them ones there, Doctor? This is probably why, but it is what it is. FSG, much like Doug said, he said that he's a fan of it's the badge. I am 3 decades in in this world, and I come from London as well, so you can understand my journey as a Liverpool fan. Do you know what I mean? All these years, I feel like this is where I differ from Doug a little bit, and I'm sorry for anyone else that has maybe taken that. I think this is undoubtedly FSG's most important summer. This comes with a little bit of context. If we didn't have prior seasons beforehand, not at all. I think we did amazingly well. Look how close we came to completing the quad. And do you know what I mean? We just keep it moving, and we have too good of a team, too good of a manager, too good of a football setup to be, when it's looked at in history, to be the best nearly men. Do you know what I mean? Like no one over history is going to care about the nuance of the league, and they're gonna look and say 4 out of 5 Prems. Like, do you know what I mean? And we didn't even have the Champions League this season to counteract that. So I say that to say this: we're now maybe 4 seasons in to what is undoubtedly, it is us and Man City in it. And let's be honest, everyone else is following up the pack, but it is us and Man City. We've been playing a style of football with a system that I think is honestly a second to none, and it's just unfortunate that we've got Thanos. That's who that's our opponents. That's our ops. It's Thanos. It's perfection. But regardless of say, it is now maybe our 6th season for some of these players, and there's a lot of running in the legs. Like our success, whatever the success we've built, has been on the legs of the Bobby Firminos, the Manes, the Salahs, the Trents. I now, moving forward into what I think is the most important summer, because I need us to win the Prem. I need us to win that, of either that or the champs or both. I need this summer to be the one, because it has to be. Like it when you look at it, it actually has to be. Like only us as Liverpool fans really understand the nuance and how great of a season it's been. But like I said, like, bro, we're going to lose this guy soon, and trophies are the currency in which football is measured in. So with that said, I would like us to go away from the type of players in which we've generally been going for in the past. I don't like it, and I've said this before, I feel like the fact that Carlo Ancelotti can say with such bravery, with such confidence, that our style of football was the easiest in which to prepare for. He never said that we were dead. He never said that we were shit. He never said that. He just said it was easy to prepare for. And I feel like that is exactly the type of football in which we're going to face next season. More of the same. It rattles me when Klopp's like, oh, they didn't allow us to play our football. Big man, that don't make any sense. I'm not allowing Anthony Joshua to hit me in a fight, rude boy. Like, it doesn't make sense because that's exactly what. Do you know what I mean? So for us to come up against, what I don't want is any push and pace merchants. And I say that just to be, and I don't mean that, do you know what I mean? But generally speaking, I want to go away from players that work more effectively with grass in front of them. Like, we've got the Diaz's, we've got the Salahs, cool. Now I need some creativity, because as far as I know it, creativity and movement is the only thing that really beats low blocks. Getting people to move from where they are to create space to then exploit that space. So I would like us to start moving away from the Danjumas, just other ones that I feel would do really well if we continue to play the type of football that best suits us. But we're not coming against enough of the opposition in order to counteract that. Like, we haven't got one creative player in our side bar Thiago, and he's a deep lining playmaker. That is outrageous. Outrageous. We've got Diaz, who's a bit of a straight line merchant. You're not looking for creativity over there. Do you know what I mean? I need to replace Coutinho. And also, going into this season, we need to cut the dead wood. People talk about 8th and 9th options. Are you on crack? Brother, if you're someone's 8th or 9th option, move and be someone else's 5th. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. You should have 5 options, and then 6, 7, and 8 should be youth man. Should be coming from your academy. Do you know what I mean? And all these players that aren't quite good enough, move them on. Because if we have another season where Klopp doesn't feel confident enough in our squad, let's be honest, as good as the season we had, these domestic cups killed us. They killed us for the Champions League. They killed us for the latter parts of and that's because, like I said before, Sadio Mane is seeing 5th round. Mane is seeing 6th round, bro. Like, Virgil van Dijk is playing against Preston. That don't make no sense, in it. Like, we need a squad that we can actually challenge these guys in the latter stages. The Champions League final is the last game of the calendar season. It's not good enough to say we don't have players fit for it. Thiago's only meant for that game. Do you know them ones there? Like, we need it. We need our over-reliance on some of the players in our team needs to stop, because we are facing Thanos. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not facing Arsenal or Tottenham. Like, we have to, like, it's not, we can't do 17 unbeaten runs. We need to do 17 winning runs. Like, it's crazy what these lot are doing to us. So that's why if I sound a little bit like, this is what needs to happen, this is what, it merely comes from frustration. Like, I feel like enough of sitting around and looking at how good we are. Let's now actually, and the reason I say that is this season will show me, in terms of our acquisitions, where FSG stand. If we get the acquisitions that are like, yeah, we're all right, you know what, you know, maybe we go again and we never know what could happen, cool. But if we get I don't know, the Harry Kanes of the world, or the actual guys that you're like, you know what, we need to actually do something. That's why I say this is a very, very integral summer for me, looking at FSG.
Big up, man.
Well,
come on.
Saint came in and just gave violence. Big up, Saint.
Yeah, I'm on violence, bro. Like, I'm on, bro. The way I saw us, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. The way I saw us, like, a lot of men are like, you know, the Champions League. I'm a bit disappointed, but it's man, it's the Premier League. That's the one that, bro. The way we came out, we would have to do too much retrospectively to right the wrongs of the Premier League. As far as the final day, we did as much as we could, bar going ahead early. But I just honestly don't think it would have been that much of a difference. I think it would have put a battery in their back and they would have done worse. But the flipping Champions League, brother. Wow, I can't believe, like, it's still rattling me. It's still rattling me. Like, we walked out of there. This is the performance in which we lost the Champions League to. And if you look back at all the draws, it's that performance. So we've got to counteract that at some point. We have to. All these draws are killing us. Like, they're killing us. Like, and I love Klopp. I love our team. We've got the best manager, best centre back, best right back, best DM. But we've got too much bests. We've got too much best, you know. Like, we have to start building on this.
Yeah,
true.
Andrew?
Yeah.
True.
Andrew, what's your thoughts and all that, mate?
Yeah, I agree with every word you said. Like, literally, I think Mane, yeah, everyone's probably gutted about it, but personally, I think he's been fantastic over the last few years now. Obviously, he was obviously Klopp's big signing when he first come in. Obviously, yeah, I don't agree I think obviously what Doug said before, yeah, words were out of context. I don't think he actually said that about the hierarchy. I think it's all BS. And also I think it's time, like even Klopp, even reason why Klopp was brought in because he could evolve this team every year. And then obviously he kept his word. Like when he first come in, he said, we'll win things in 4 years, and he did. And look what he's done for this club. He's changed the culture. He loves the city, the fans, the passion of the club. He's changed this club forever. And it's just like everyone loves him. Like probably all my mates, like even like the way he's changed this club, and I'm looking forward to this summer window. I'm hoping we bring in some decent players who can obviously can do really well for this club, and I think like because otherwise I'd feel like one obviously when Klopp does eventually leave in a few years, I'd feel sorry for the players that never got to play under him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Sarich, your point, especially what Saint made there?
Mate, what's the point again, bro? I'm
But
still
I was
thinking about
I was talking for time, bro. So I know I was trying to get waffle.
It's not even a problem, bro. I just forgot I was listening.
Sorry, that was my fault talking.
But FSG's biggest summer in a way. FSG's biggest summer.
Yeah, I think it is. Just because of the players that are possibly going out. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's Klopp's biggest summer as well, isn't it? Because all the investment Klopp's put into these players in terms of teaching them how to play a certain system and a style and stuff like that. 2 of them players possibly can go. One looks like he's definitely going, and he's gonna have to get players in to do that. Or, like Saint said, we can change the style of play as well, but then it's teaching people a new system. Like I don't actually think we've had the same style of play the whole time. I've seen tweaks in the squad, because the when we won the league was different to the year before when we missed out by 1 point. And I think the high line thing is coming more with VAR. The fact that they were going with like the first time was trying VAR, and then now it's in properly. It helps us with the high line. I don't think we'd play that if that didn't exist. But with investments into the squad, I'm all for trying to get different styles, like different types of players, because especially in the midfield, I remember Rod saying a few times that it's kind of like the same, and like when somebody comes off the bench, it's just the same kind of football. And like I said to you guys before, Naby's the one where money's been invested in the midfield more than any, and it's not his fault, obviously. But like, it doesn't fill me with any kind of anything. Like, I don't look at him when he warms up and think anything. But I'll look at like Man City squad and I can see I can see like Mahrez and on the bench, Gundogan and all these people. Like if it was the roles reversed when we had Villa, and Villa had went up 2-0, just because of the Liverpool spirit, I believe we could have won. But the chances are, it probably would have ended up a draw, would have lost, because look who they brought on and changed the game straight away. We would have brought on Naby, and it's like Klopp's still bringing him on with the thought of what he should be doing, like what he was doing before we got him, the ball carrying and breaking the lines and stuff like that. And he doesn't do it, and I kind of get it from Klopp because we know what kind of person he is. He's invested in the person as well as than being a footballer. So he's seeing them in training all the time. He's always talking about how great of people they are and stuff like that. But sometimes you're gonna have to just give up on some of these guys, man. You give them enough time already, and the pressure ends up on him. And like one quote that sticks out for me, I think Pep Lijnders mentioned it again in that masterclass tactics thing. He said that Liverpool Football Club, we build our team not to be the best, just to challenge the best. And that's where I draw the line that people just go in at FSG, because I'm like, no, there is Klopp's involvement in this. They're not trying to be the best; they're just trying to compete with him. So that's why they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's always we'll go again. We'll go again because it's almost like accepting that Man City is a great squad, and to beat that to do anything, we're gonna have to be perfect. For me, I don't think we have to be perfect to beat Man City. I think the stats show that. And don't get me wrong, us playing a different way could push Man City to play even better. We never know. But the fact that when we won the league, it was by so much. And the fact that every time it's been a point when they've won the league, apart from last season, means to me that the tweak is probably the fact in big games, we never change the style we're playing. And I'm all for play our game and we'll win. But sometimes you have to judge it on the game because take away all the Brighton and all that. I know that we drew them games and it happens. They're anomalies. Man City drew to Crystal Palace. They lost to Crystal Palace. They drew to Southampton as well. Southampton get beat up 9-0. So football doesn't work like that easy. But for me, one, you want to beat the top teams. And the reason why they're so important is because while you beat them and gain points, they're dropping points at the same time. There's points not gained. So, yeah, there's the Brighton thing, but we beat Man City this season at least once. We won the league. The season before,
forget Man City. If we beat any top 4 team, we didn't beat any top 4 team, bro.
Yeah. That's my point, saying I 100% agree with that, and that is the baseline because their team just should have beat. But I'm just saying that at least when it's these big games, even if you take a draw away and beat them at home, we win the three occasions. We finished a point behind Man City. And if we just beat them every time, once, we win the league. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? We've finished a point behind them. And yeah, everyone's talking about the Gerrard slip and all this business and all that. But we could have just beat them, and we beat them one time. We could have beat them again. So I'm just saying, like, there's tweaks needed. I don't know where. I can't see them just changing a lot in the squad, to be honest. And there's ifs and buts, but I would like to know, would everyone feel the same if we won the league and the Champions League?
Well, that's the thing.
Still wanted to league. That's all I'm saying. Like, if they still wanted to leave, Mane still wanted to leave, Salah was still acting like this with the contract, would we feel the same in terms of the investment in the squad? I would. So I'm just asking because I just felt like the pressure was coming anyway.
I would.
So
I would. I would as well.
Yeah, I would as well. I would as well. I like I said, it comes over a repeat. You got to look at history. Like if this was isolated, and I'd be like, yo, we're chill. We get them next time. You know the ones that when you look at it, and you're 100%. Like, yo, we've done this 3 times. Like, and now we have to get over. In terms of if we'd won the league and all of that, I probably understand Mane's reason for leaving a little bit more. I'd be like, no, I get it, bro. You've done, you know what I mean? You clocked it. I get it. Cool. With Salah, bro, when you want money, that don't like the hunger for money don't decrease with you want money in it. You know the ones that regardless of whether we win or not, it's still like probably more so if we win. It's like like come on, look at what I've done for you. That resolve will probably be even more. And how we deal with that is how we deal with that. I've already said personally, I don't want Mane. I don't want Salah receiving those type of wages from my club. Again, I love Salah, but I'm a Liverpool fan. I love Liverpool more, and I already am talking about, like, you know, one of the hardest things to do in football is predict Pep's starting lineup. Mad hard, bro.
100%.
And one of the easiest things to do is to predict ours. Like, and I want that to change because of.
Saying got shut down, bro. FSG shut you down.
FSG lock him off, man. Lock him off.
Apologies.
Jamie, just with what Saint said before about like what Ancelotti said about us with easiest to defend against and all this business. There is a point to the fact that sometimes predictability is not bad. If you're just that damn good at it, you can't stop it anyway. Like Messi's quite predictable. You know what I mean? Sometimes he does the mad thing when he dribbles for you and that, but you know he's going to cut in on the left foot, dribble, bang it. You just can't stop it, and you can train for it all you like. With ours, it's kind of like dependent on. It's a lot of focus on Trent to be on top of his game, going both ways. It's almost like if Trent has a bad game going that way, the other team can possibly win or draw. And if Trent crossing isn't on point, we're going to struggle to break something down. And I think that they should lighten the load on him a little bit more, because what it does is people don't know what's going to happen. They don't know how we're going to play. And then the other thing is on the wages, going back to what Statman said earlier, which I 100% agree with like, it's a lot of money. No one seems to take into account the bonuses. They just say the word bonus, but don't talk about how much it is. So when people are asking for a contract worth like 300,000 and stuff, I'm like, you're already getting that a week?
And you're
already getting that. Yeah, you're already getting that. Exactly. So
you're the only one that scores goals and you're getting goal bonuses, rude boy. What's going on? Like,
exactly, but man are getting like bonuses for appearing and that, like for being alive and breathing.
First team bonuses, bro. And you can, and like I said, our team's the easiest to predict. The first team.
Why don't they all get together and just beat up Karius, bro, and take his wages? But why is he getting paid, bro? Just punch him up.
But hold on, 1 minute. I just want to ask one question here. Would you like to see at the end of the day Gomez as right back and Trent pushed into midfield? How do you think that will work?
No,
that won't work.
No. Well, no.
But don't you think at the end of the day that Gomez will more hold his position more than what Trent would?
I think what we got to do in some
circumstances. You know what I mean?
This is what I talk about managing games sometimes. I think we don't manage games well enough sometimes. And I think there has to be some circumstances that maybe Trent isn't the right fit for that sort of game. And there's nothing that doesn't mean he's not a world-class talent. It just means he's not a good fit for that kind of game. And you just bring Gomez for that game, and that might change the outcome in a match for you.
Jamie,
I think we don't do that enough.
Big fact.
Don't you believe going off what you're saying? I think you're 100% right. Do you think it becomes like, because the rotation, obviously we don't normally have a right back, so whatever, and Gomez is playing there, and I'm always confident with him being at right back. But do you think just because the rotation hardly ever happens, that when it comes down to big games, it feels a bit mad for them to change it? Not on our point of view, from their point of view. Like if Gomez has only played 3 games at right back all season, the Champions League comes along, and all of us in the preview are like, we got to play Trent, but we're kind of happy with playing Gomez. And then, or the same with Shimikas and Robbo. In my head, I'm like, we think like that, but they ain't going to think it. They're going to be like... Do
you know what kills me, yeah? Do you know what kills me? And Jamie, I know you've probably done it in one of your previews, yeah? One of the things I hate, and I love Klopp. Like, I love Klopp. I'm just frustrated and I'm talking, but I don't want people to be, he's Klopp. No, I love Klopp, and I think he's one of the best managers. Like, let me just start that out in it saying. But what I really hate is when I do a preview, and I've seen it on other content channels, you're like, right, okay, so horses for courses is what we're thinking, pretty much what you're thinking. So we're like, yo, Robbo's looking dead out, so we'll put Tsimikas here, and then, we'll put Konate here, and then maybe we'll put Hendo, we'll rest, and then we all go, yeah, but we know Klopp's going to start these lot. Like, it rattles me. I'm like, now I'm starting to be like you, Hugo, you said, you said, predictability sometimes isn't bad, but when we played 73 games and we as fans can see that like Robbo's blowing out of his arse and and everything has to be perfect, as you yourself, Hugo, said, and it blatantly is. Like, you're right in terms of Trent has to be on point, but let's be honest, others have to be on point. Fab has to be on point. Thiago has to be on point, and they're already going into the games like what, 50-60%. It's like, big man, like, you're asking too much of these men to, do you know what I'm saying? Like, when everyone's let's play that, let's do that. But if that isn't the case, we're gonna have to change it up. And I feel like we just played into their hands a little bit, because
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. And if not, that sub has to come earlier.
Has to.
What is your Saint, what is your answer then? What would you answer? What would you answer then?
My answer, this is my answer.
Going forward.
Klopp, like I've said, Klopp, going off of his record, he wasn't the type of manager who would ever clock the quad. He isn't, because I've noticed as like close as the quad was for us to reach it, it was still quite hard, and you need rotation. Them 73 games, it starts to wear on players, and especially the way in which we play. So Klopp needs to start using more players. Like, Fabinho didn't need to get Brock then. I said in my preview, and who am I? Look at me, I'm any guy. And I was like, I wouldn't start Fab there. I'd start Henderson. He gets Brock. Yeah, I was like, yo, if we're not good enough to play and beat Wolves without Thiago, he never started in my preview because of that. I was like, we need to wrap him in cotton wool because we need him for this final. And he goes and plays him. I use the thing. Our success rate with Thiago in the team, outrageous.
Yeah.
But it became a cheat code. You knew what you bought when we got Thiago. We knew the fitness levels of him. We knew what he was and what he wasn't. So we need and Klopp is far better of a manager than he gives himself credit for sometimes. Brother, you're sick, bro. Like rely on your strategical nous and change things a little bit more because we need it. We can't go gun ho the same thing. We've seen it now. You know the ones that we've seen it for how many progressive. So if you don't have faith in the Klopps, in the Oxes, in the Joneses, then change them. Do you know what I mean? Like this is why I say this summer has to be or stick with them, but rotate a little bit more and have a little bit more. There's times when I've been like, you know what, I could really use a ball play, even though I thought Ox was on some stupidness, I could use a ball carrying midfielder who can let off a shot outside of, and we're all saying the same thing and we don't see it. And it's like, bro, why have we got these men in the squad? Like, we know that we're going to have to challenge. Like, I want a squad that's good enough to not see any of our main hitters in the Carabao or the FA Cup until semi-finals. Like, do you know, the final, do you know what I mean? Because it's going to ultimately hinder us. Like, that's it, man.
I've been saying that for a while. It's like it's either he needs to sort of like rotate the players or change the system, because what it does then, and your whole squad gets predictable. That's why probably Ancelotti said, well, you know, this was the easiest team to prepare for, because he probably had a vision in the day of when he was with Everton and that of what Klopp was going to put out there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he probably had a vision of that. So he probably prepared for that. Do you know what I mean? So I've been saying for a long time, something's got to change. He's a great manager. I love Klopp. I absolutely love the guy, because I think what he's brought to Liverpool, and think that right, is no other manager's brought that to Liverpool since like Bob Paisley days and their man there. You understand what I'm saying? Joe Fagan and their man there. Do you know what I mean? So he's done it. But there are times at the day, either he needs to change the personnel or he needs to change the system and everything in order to get over the line in certain games. I've been saying that for a long time. Do you know what I mean? And he's changed more this. Riga a lot more time.
But people were actually saying to me, "Oh, it's a damn shame Origi was not fit for that Real Madrid game. We really could. But we wouldn't have seen minutes because he don't rate him."
Yeah,
so this is what I'm like.
Exactly.
It's like that. But you know what? He has probably in this season been a little bit more like changeable and done a little more the changes. I remember some of the changes he's done when he's brought up. I've been like, "Bro, you're actually doing it," but it needs to be a little bit more. And let's be honest, we wouldn't be talking like this if we didn't have Man City in the league. We wouldn't be talking like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately, we do. So, but I've got to move. I've been talking too much. I've got to go. I love you. Listen, guys, please.
Let everyone know where they can follow you, mate.
Before all of that, please. Jamie is one of the best, most hardworking content creators out there. I know you know, because there's at least 500-600 of you in here because of that. So please, man, it takes nothing to just like up the thing. I'll tell you what it is, for our smaller content creators, they don't really share it out like that. So if they see like, whoa, there's like 500 people and they're all liking the content, it goes out to a lot more people. So please like up the thing for Jamie. Please. Say LFC TV, that's where I am. You can see me. I'm on like maybe 60 man, and I get to like 1,000. Woo, and I can, you know what I mean? I can do up gang and that. But yeah, no, thanks ever so much for having me. I'm so sorry I come on. I chat so much shit and I'm just hype, you know, like
yeah, you're good.
Love.
Go and sub him up, guys. I've
got to go back to the missus now, you know, like that.
There you go. So John and Steve.
I rate that guy, man. I love that guy there. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Saint's a great guy.
Saint's about to end on like PK, bro. Man said he's coming in and bouncing, and it's been an hour, bro.
John, let's get the chat going. So, John, your opinion, FSG is their biggest summer?
100%. 100%. I think FSG is going to do what we should have done before COVID hit. I'm going to spend. I know I slag FSG left, right, and centre sometimes. I'm not their biggest fan, but I think we're going to spend big.
Yeah, I've got a feeling.
I think we get Nunez in. I think we'll go after either Gavi or Basuma. And Ramsey. Ramsey's dad's coming. He's a outstanding player.
Yeah.
So he is. I think I'm going to get one more.
I can't see us touching Basuma until his court case is over.
I don't believe there's anything in that, but I heard it's just pure false.
Yeah, I think with the Basuma thing, if a top club buy Basuma and he gets bad about saying on the back pages and the front page it could be Liverpool star, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
that's the problem. But Steve, same to you, mate.
Yeah, I think it's about rebuilding now, isn't it? I think it's just as important as when Klopp first came in, that first transfer window that he had, to obviously potentially sign players. I think another benefit this season is it's going to 5 substitutes as well. So I think that will help as well when it comes to
definitely
squad rotation. I think that's going to help massively. And I agree with some of Saint's comments, but I don't think it was just that getting that one victory over the likes of Man City or Chelsea, because if you look at, we only lost 2 games. We were unbeaten in the league in 2022. It was the draws that let us down. The likes winning we were 2-0 up at home against Brighton, drew 2-2, which probably should have even lost that game, to be honest. Obviously the Brentford drawing 3-3, losing to West Ham 3-2, losing to Leicester 1-0. It was mainly the draws that sort of let us down.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. 8 draws this season. The draws have been damaging enough. Hello. I've just seen Savage's 2 dogs there. Lovely. But yeah, I totally agree. I think the draws have been very, very temperamental to us as well. 8 draws. I think it was famously Sir Alex Ferguson said, I think you could only drop 5 points a season to win the league or something like that. So we really need to stop these stupid draws as well. But we were unbeaten at Anfield for another season. I'm going to be honest. I don't believe for a minute the Gavi rumours. I think this is just to get him another pay rise at Barcelona, another contract. I don't believe we're getting him, to be honest, and especially with what's happened as well with obviously Shakira and Piqué. I think Gavi's staying in Spain. I don't see him leaving Barcelona.
Definitely, but I just think, like I say, I mean, yes, obviously the draws have hurt us, and we didn't win against any of the top 4. But having said that, yes, the draws have killed us. But I mean, what a fantastic season we've had. We just need to build on it.
Agreed.
And I think we need someone like a ball carrying midfield. I know Naby was brought in for that, but I mean, Naby's gets too many England injuries for me. He really has. He's really had too many England injuries. So I think we need to try and go someone. I think there's rumours of that Sangare for PSV. He's
37.5 million buyout.
Yeah, so he's a decent player. But yeah, I agree with you, Doug. I don't think, as much as I'd love to see Gavi in a Liverpool shirt, I don't think that's happening. But we need a ball carrying centre midfielder. We need someone to obviously be on the fringes, who's going to replace Origi. If Mane goes, we're going to need someone to replace him as well. Because you can't just go back to where we've got 3 forwards, because if there's any injuries, what do you do? Who do you bring on?
I totally agree with you, Phil. I really, really do. So Mane, it looks like Mane's leaving at the moment anyway. It's all gone a bit quiet the last 24 hours or so, but it does look like he wants to leave Liverpool Football Club. Now, there's many rumours going around why he wants to leave Liverpool Football Club. One, he felt underappreciated at Liverpool Football Club. The wages, look, the wage thing, I see different things all the time online. One thing I see that Mane's been on 100k a week. There's another thing that I see is on 180 to 200k a week. We do have bonuses in our contracts. That's like So the season after we won the Premier League, that season we had the highest wage bill in England that year because all the bonuses came in on top of their contracts. So we do give out bigger contracts than people think. It's just the bonuses go on.
Mm.
So with this Mane talk, obviously he's leaving, so that's put a bit of a damper on everything. Within 6 days, we didn't manage to win the Premier League or Champions League, so everyone's feeling a bit down and depressed. With Mane, definitely, it looks to me he's gone. I think he's had enough and he wants to go. Personally, I think Mane wants a bit of an easier life somewhere else as well at the same time. You know, the English league is hard. This is the hardest league. You're competing against a juggernaut in Man City week in, week out, which is very, very difficult. And, you know, in Germany, I think he's got family in Germany as well, which is nicer for him. So he hasn't really got any family in England. So, and at Bayern Munich, look, I can guarantee you right now, Bayern Munich are winning the Bundesliga next season. It's done. You know,
100%. 100%.
It's got to be an easier way of life for him. Apart from Christmas this year, because he's at the World Cup, he gets a massive winter break. It'll be better on his body. But I've said this as well. With Sadio Mane probably leaving this summer, what I will say is we have had the best version of Sadio Mane. So wherever he goes, if he does go to Bayern Munich and he's on that 380 grand a week and 20 million a year, good luck to him. I respect the guy. But Bayern Munich are not going to get the best version of Sadio Mane. Liverpool had that at the time he was there. Now, what I will say about the fan base sometimes, a lot of this same fan base that are criticising the club for letting him go right now wanted him sold at the beginning of the season. We can't look at it two ways and go, right, now he's leaving, it's all your fault. But a lot of these fans online, I remember Drifty was talking about this yesterday on Coffee. And, you know, he talks on the heart. He's a big, you know, he loves Mane at pieces. And he was a bit correct to what he's saying. The fan base slag Mane off more than any other player in this team, apart from probably Jones, apart from Curtis Jones. Mane gets heck of abuse on social media. A lot of people always talk about he's done, he's finished, we've had enough, we need to move on and replace Sadio Mane, he needs to leave. Now he's actually leaving. Everyone's going sort of backwards into themselves and going, no, hang on, we need to give Mane the 380 grand a week that Bayern Munich want to give him. So if you're an owner of a club and you're seeing these same people say that, you must be so confused what to do. Now, if Mane was on 100 grand a week, was he underpaid for the talent? Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, of course he was underpaid. At the same time, though, I never heard Mane kick up a stink about it. I never heard Sadio come out and say, you know, I think I deserve a bit more than what I'm on right now and what I need to talk about. I want to talk about. I never heard his agent come out, Sadio come out. Never heard anything bad against anything. Now it's coming to the year left in his deal. You hear a lot of talk, like you always do with footballers and agents. That's just the way football is nowadays. So I do wish him well if he does go to Bayern Munich, or I think Real Madrid are interested and PSG are interested in that. So there might actually be a bit of a bidding war going on for him. Liverpool want to get a good deal at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
I know Bayern Munich thought, right, we sold you Thiago for 25 mil, so we'd like you to do the same thing with Mane. And Liverpool like, no. Mane's an attacker who scores goals. There's a different valuation on that than what Thiago is. You know, it's as simple as that. So Liverpool want I believe the figure is £42.5 million or something like that, which works out as 50 million euros or something like that. That's what Liverpool Football Club are looking for. Now, as I said, we have had the best of Sadio Mane. Totally. A lot of the fan base wanted Mane gone. Let's face it. And if people say they didn't, that's fair enough. But a lot of people, you look on social media, look all over the place, you hear people talking in the pubs and out in the streets. It's always Sadio Mane's not the same player anymore. He don't look like he can go past the player no more. He looks like he's lost his pace. We need to look at so he's leaving. He's going. Who do we replace Sadio Mane with? And I say who do we replace as a way as Mane was incredible for Liverpool Football Club. At his time, for me, when he was 27, 28, I don't think there was a better left-sided player in European football at the time. Everyone can tell me Neymar, but don't give me Neymar. No. He was great at Barcelona, but since he's been in France, he's been awful. Sadio Mane was great at that time. So compare it, buying a player and going, right, we'll go buy Serge Gnabry. I've seen that as the thing the last 24 hours, the Serge Gnabry talk. I don't know if it's real talk or they're just putting two and two together because Bayern want Mane and he's out of contract next season. It looks like Saint could do. Serge Gnabry is not going to be as good as Sadio Mane was ever for Liverpool, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love Gnabry. I'm not sure why. When I saw him in England, I don't think he was that great. Yeah, it might have been because he was young. He went to Germany. He looks fantastic in Germany. Jadon Sancho looked fantastic in Germany. We just have to chill our boots sometimes when players play in opposition leagues, thinking, right, they're going to be so good when they come over and all that. That's why scouting is the most important thing in football recruitment. Scouting is the number one thing in football recruitment. Liverpool do it really well. And we recruit. We look at players for years. We looked at Saka when he was still in the youth system at Arsenal and tried to buy him when he was in the youth system at Arsenal because we could see what a player he could be. We scouted Diogo Jota for 2 years before we even put a bid in for him because we're making sure scouting is where it's at. So thinking of all that through, the players we've all been listed with, Nkunku, Gnabry, we're definitely going to replace Mane because the club has said it themselves. They're not going to let Mane go as well until a replacement is just about done to come straight in. So that gives me hope because I always thought that Diaz was the main replacement. But they're on about they want to get another attacker in. That's good news. They're not just resting on their laurels with Diaz. So for me, that's a good talking point. They're actually not just resting on Diaz. They do want another attacker, which is good for me. So, Steve, I'll go you, Steve, first.
Yeah.
Who do you think they will be looking at and what players? And do you think we're going to spend big this summer at the same time?
I think we need to. Whether or not we do is another question. Obviously, FSG and Klopp are the only ones that realistically know if we're going to spend big. But I think this is, like I said earlier on in the show, I think this is why Klopp signed a deal because I think one of the clauses would have been, I need to be back this summer. Man City have obviously already spent big on Haaland. They've got Alvarez, who's coming in, who looks a decent player, albeit he's came from South America. You don't know how he's going to embed in the Premier League. But for me, we do have to spend big. We need someone who's going to come in and replace both Origi, Mane, etc. You look at the likes of Ox, Milner. They're probably going to be going as well. There's rumours about Naby going as well. They're going to all have to be replaced if necessary as well. We need someone who can obviously just back up to Trent as well. I know we're linked with Calvin Ramsey from Aberdeen, as Doug said. There's lots of players that we're going to be linked with, and we need to have that sort of balance where we're not going to have the bench of what Man City have got or Chelsea. We just haven't got that sort of money, but we need to still have them options off the bench because I think that was sort of our downside. Obviously, maybe not so much the second half of the season because the bench at sometimes was pretty good. It was on par probably with City's, but I think we need to just sign in the right areas, and I think that's definitely going to have to be an attacking midfielder, a ball-playing centre midfielder, someone who can play as a centre forward. I know we've got Jota and Bobby who can play there, but we need to replace in the right areas, which is centre mid, forward, and I think a cover right back for me as well. That's where we need to sort of replace. And you look at the likes of Hendo as well. He's getting into his 30s now. He can't play as many games as he used to be able to play as well. So that's maybe another position where we need to look at another defensive midfielder as well.
Great, John. Some question to you, mate. Is John still there? He's not there. Right, we'll go to Doug.
Oh, wow. Well, I am seeing comments about Son, Harry Kane. I think you can dream about that.
Yeah.
That is not happening. I do not want Harry Kane anywhere near my football club.
Selling players stuff.
I'm sorry, but the one man you don't deal with is Daniel Levy.
No.
So it certainly isn't. In my opinion, I think that obviously Danjuma, I think that has legs potentially. He's another player we've been tracking for ages since he went to obviously Bournemouth, and then obviously went to Villarreal. He wants to leave Villarreal. I think it's been pretty publicised much that he wants to leave there. Gnabry. What funny thing is, I can see him potentially back at Arsenal. I don't know why, but I can see him potentially being back at Arsenal. Another name I don't think many people have mentioned, Gabriel Martinelli. Klopp's a big fan of Martinelli. I am actually going to put my neck out on the line there. I think we might get Martinelli.
Wow. So with the Martinelli talk, I think Martinelli and Saka have both got 2 years left on their deal. And I said this in a video the other day when someone asked me about Martinelli and Saka. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool wait till January. Because if you wait till January and they still not look like they're going to sign a contract, you can sort of talk to them in a way. Look, tapping up happens everywhere. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone taps up. Yeah. Otherwise, don't get transfers done. It's as simple as that. And I think if Liverpool wait till January on the Saka Martinelli front, because I do think Liverpool will be very interested in them. I really do. I think Klopp will be more interested in Martinelli, but I think FSG and Liverpool will be more interested in Saka. And
that's my thinking as well.
I think that's how they would think about it. And if they're both not signed new contracts in January, and I think Saka's an exceptional footballer as well. The thing with Martinelli and Saka, they are being uncoached at the moment because they've got Arteta as their manager. It's just the way it's got to be. They're not looking as good maybe they should be because
Pep's cone man. Sorry, that's all Arteta is, unfortunately.
They can't perform at that level.
Another name that came to my head: who's the guy at Bayer Leverkusen? Is it Diaby?
Yeah, Diaby. Yeah,
I can tell you now, he is a Jurgen Klopp kind of player.
Diaby and Nunes.
For me, he is a Jurgen Klopp kind of player, so I would probably say him as well.
Rods?
Yeah, they're gonna have to spend big. Definitely, they're gonna spend big. I would like to see. Basuma, I would like to see him come in. I like to see him play further forward. I don't know about Gnabry. I don't know about him. I just don't think at the day he's that sort of player that's any good. I don't think he's any good. I think he looks all right because he's gone back to Germany. That's where he come from. He came from Germany to Arsenal and back to Germany. So I think Germany's his team. But I don't think that's the sort of player we could bring in. If anybody, I would bring in Leroy Sané. I want to bring in him. Do you know what I mean? I think he's a hell of a player. Leroy Sané is a hell of a player. He's very good. Do you know what I mean? But Nunes has got to come in. I reckon Nunes got to come in and everything that. And you know what? I would do a cheeky punt on Jude Bellingham there. I'll do a cheeky punt on that, man. Do you know what I mean? Because I quite like the player and everything that. And I think at the end of the day, he is a Klopp player. Do you know what I mean? But so if you can get him for the right price.
I think he might be a one for next season, Rods. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we put it a bid for now, but obviously for next season, like we did with Naby, I would not be surprised at all with that. I don't think Dortmund sell after they've just obviously sold Haaland, but I think he could be one for next season.
That could be the thing, but like, we need to sort of like look at players at the end of the day across Europe and bring in players at the end of the day that's going to make a difference. Not sort of like play like it is now. We need players at the end of the day that's going to make a difference in the squad. And that. As you said, Oxlade-Chamberlain, he's probably going to go. I don't feel Milner's going to go. I think they're going to offer him another year's contract and everything that because he's good to have around the squad and that. So I think he will stay. But there's a few players at the day that's gonna go, and I feel when you're gonna get players in and everything like that, it's got to be players at the day it's gonna make a difference. Because to be honest, at the day, if it's not, there's no point in getting them. There's just no point in getting them because we'd just be back where we are while before. Challenging but not winning. I don't want to be challenging. I want to be winning. Do you know what I mean? We've actually proved that one day we can challenge. We can challenge the top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We proved that. I want to be winning now. Do you know what I mean? I want to be winning sort of thing now. So we need to get players in at the end of the day. That's going to make a difference to the squad. That's going to take the squad to that next level now. Do you know what I mean?
Totally agree. I'm going to say one name out. I'm going to shout out a name. Jared Bowen. Now, I absolutely love Jared Bowen. I absolutely love Jared.
Me too.
I think he's a top
I do as well.
player.
I do.
I've been shouting out, like, if anyone knows me, I've been shouting out Jared Bowen now for about 18 months. I remember I went on Coppish in August and said I'd rather have Bowen than St. Maximin and Rafinha, and everyone laughed at me. And now I think I'm proved right. I think he's a tremendous footballer. Because he's English and he plays for West Ham, he's not spoken about enough. I watch him every week as well. Where we're talking about the players that are playing in other countries at the moment, and I don't get to see him a lot. So this is just my point of view. A lot of people might be watching Nkunku more than I'm watching him, or Núñez more than I'm watching him. But I'm watching Bowen play every single week for West Ham.
Yeah.
And what I see of him, I just think he's top drawer. I think he's quality. He's good with both feet. He actually played well for England today. It's just he had nothing around him. He couldn't do a lot, but I thought he was quite decent for England today. And I think he's a perfect kind of Liverpool kind of player. I just know people might, even in the comments, might be like, "Nah, not Bowen." Because I don't think there's this stigma in football that we just can't, for some reason, get round in our heads. That players like Jared Bowen, because he's little, he's English, and he played for West Ham, aren't uber talented footballers. I think we just still can't get that stigma out of our heads, and we have to go for a foreign player we've never heard of.
Yeah,
there might be a foreign player you bring in you've never heard of, and be like, "Oh my god, he's like brilliant." Like I can think of many foreign players we've brought in this club that have not worked, and everyone told me they're this, they're that, they're amazing, they're great. Look, Barini's got he's been at many teams. He was at Roma. Everyone told me, "Oh, he's amazing at Roma. He's a great little player, he's a great little left winger." He's dog food, I don't see. Nkunku might be. I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Nkunku, yeah.
I don't see him play every week. I've seen him in bits and pieces, and he does look like a good footballer. You can't tell a good footballer straight away when you see him. Núñez, I'm hearing people say Núñez's actual link-up play is trash. And we're all about link-up play. So if you ain't got good enough link-up play and you're going to be our number 9, it's not going to work, is it? I mean, look at Jota when he goes number 9. Jota's link-up play, back to goal, is not really that great. Mane in that position had better link-up play. I like a Bowen. Is he a Salah replacement? Probably not, but he could be, given time, if you get him in now and give him the time to develop into that footballer. You've got to give players time to develop into footballers. Yeah, I know we need the player. I think a Jared Bowen would be perfect in this Liverpool side. And then you get another attacker, maybe, and that number 9. I've said a short-term option number 9. Maybe a short-term option like a number 9, like a lot of clubs have been doing recently. And like a hold-up number 9. Maybe not a number 9 that scores lots of goals. So I keep saying this, and I'll always go back to it. Mo Salah and Sadio Mane always look better for me in a Liverpool shirt when Bobby Firmino plays the number 9 role. Even this season, I think Mane and Salah don't look as good unless Bobby's playing in that position. When Bobby does come into that position, I see Salah go back to the player he was when he used to play give and goes and run into the box and look for flick-ons and stuff like that, because Bobby would do it for him. When Jota's playing that position, I think Salah gets more greedy because he's not playing the 1-2s and give and goes because he knows that's not Jota's game.
Yeah.
Bobby, in that position, highlighted the qualities of the wingers and hid their weaknesses, in my opinion. And when Bobby's not there, their weaknesses look more apparent, if that makes sense. And I think that's the sort of player we need. I know everyone's saying get a lethal number 9 in front of goal, But in some ways, with the players we got, that don't actually work. We need that, maybe that hold-up target man now who's very good with his link-up play. You know, Emueski wasn't the greatest striker in the world, but he made Michael Owen. Yeah, he made Michael Owen's career in Liverpool and in England. But he wasn't the greatest all-in-out striker. I think he had that one season we got 20 goals that season. He was fantastic. But overall, his career, he wasn't, you know, a horrific, quality, world-class striker. But he was that link-up man that they made the best of Michael Owen for Liverpool Football Club, in my opinion. So I'll go to Savage with this, my man. Your thoughts?
A lot of the players that I'm thinking of, you guys have already spoke of, to be honest. Trying to keep it more in line with what I know, what kind of players we would get, instead of like thinking too outside the box, because I just know that won't happen. There's no evidence of that. But I think you already know how I feel about Bowen. I think he's a baller, man. If you already know, if his name was Gerardinho, trust me, it'd be the bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's true what Jamie said about like the fact that whether you watch the outside leagues or not, it's just the fact that Gerard Bowen's doing it in the league against the teams that we need to beat and compete against already.
Yeah.
So whether the other ones are better or not, we just know that there's one here who can already do it. I do know these teams with their English tax and the way West Ham rate him as well, and David Moyes rates him, that they won't be selling for no cheap price. And Cuckoo, I only watch every week because my son watches him play, and yeah, it's not a myth with him. He's an absolute baller. Like he's one of the ones that in the last few years, because when you look out there's not actually that much, to be honest. So it is about getting it right. I think he fits in with Klopp's profile in the fact that, one, how good he is, and two, he can play across the whole front line, and he's not a bit part across the whole front line. He can play in each position pretty damn good. When it comes to the midfield, for me, obviously, without, you know what I mean, without the personal issues are out of the way and stuff like that, I think Bassuma's kind of a no-brainer kind of style for me. He does exactly what Genie done, but better, and adds goals, and drives forward with the ball a lot more. Because Genie could do that, but it was very rare. Yeah, Genie's was very rare. Like that stuff, what we saw from Genie in the Champions League semi-final, mate, that happened about 5 times in his whole Liverpool career. So we know he could do it. And clearly it was based on instructions why he didn't, because for the Netherlands, he does it all the time. But yeah, there's the Basuma, and then for me, Maddison makes a lot of sense, man. I think he's had his time at Leicester now. I think he's been there 4 years now. I think they signed him the season after they won the league. His contract runs out 2024. He's gone under the radar this year because everyone kind of give up on watching Leicester. It's like, listen, they've got loads of injuries and stuff, but he finished with like 11 goals and 12 assists, or either way round. And like I said, his set pieces with free kicks and corners. Yeah, he can shoot from outside the box. He kind of gives you what Ox does, but more. He's actually not as injury prone as people think as well. Like most of his injuries have come from people actually injuring him instead of his body just breaking down. And with Rod said it earlier, but I've been saying this, and with the Gnabry one as well. He's actually, there's the German tax, the facts in the German league, but if you watch him in the Champions League, he's been destroying teams. And I wouldn't just go after him off the top, but if the fact that if Mane's trying to go the other way, and Bayern Munich don't look like they want to shell out money for Mane as much as he's worth, if you can use him in a deal, one of them, Sane or Gnabry, and then they have to give us like 20 million or something, I'll take it. I'd rather Sane than Gnabry. I think Sane is way better than him. He's already played in the Premier League. And let's be honest, man, every time he played against us in the Premier League, he destroyed us. Even games when we drew the game, he destroyed us every time. So we know he can do it.
Yeah.
It was more to do with him and Pep that he wanted to go back to Germany. But Klopp's a better man manager, so he'll get that. And he's older now as well. You know what I'm saying? So I would do that. But if I had to pick out of them, because I know there's the Nunes one as well. I've watched him maybe 5 games in their league, because their league is, I can't watch it, man. I only watch it to gamble. And I've seen him against us in the Champions League. And to be honest, we would have to change the way we play to play with Nunes in the team, because if he plays in the number 9 position and he can get you a goal, but he pretty much doesn't do anything for the whole game, then he gets you a goal. And some games that won't be good enough for us. If we played him as a false 9, I don't think it would work, because his link-up play is average at best. But if we did go for the fact that we're going to start throwing a man in the box and trying to get a goal, then yeah, he's the man. But then I'm just like, Origi could do all of that. This is the reason why I don't believe we're going to get an out on that number 9. It's nothing to do with me thinking you guys are wrong. I just think the evidence is there that pretty much when Origi played, he scored, and he still didn't play the next game.
Yeah,
they've told us that his attitude was perfect. They all looked like they wanted to cry when he was leaving. He's been available for however long now, and he just wanted game time. So whoever's going to come in ain't going to just want to sit on the bench. So we're trying to get somebody who can replace Origi, but almost up it a little bit to push whoever's on the pitch already. So I don't know who would go for that. I don't know if like an Ivan Toney or someone like that would sit on the bench. And I know he's got the kind of like aspirations to want to play, so he might push whoever's playing. But yeah, the out on that number 9 thing, I just don't. The way Origi was treated, and I just don't see it happening. Or maybe it's just the fact that Origi's style of play in number 9 doesn't match us. But I don't know, man. Everything said that we already had one there, and he's going to be off. So yeah, I would just go Maddison and Nkunku for me would be the players over everyone, to be honest, or Basuma and Nkunku. But trust me, the Nkunku one, if you get him, it's massive because trying to replace, we use the word replace to replace Mane and Salah. And like I said, for me, Mane's been replaced on the left wing. He's only been a number 9 for half a season. So the replacement really is somebody to be ahead of Bobby in the number 9 and Jota. But like you have to think outside the box with replacing Salah, because you can't really replace him. Like we've never replaced Coutinho, and we've still won the Champions League and the league since. So what you're trying to do is get someone as close to the standard of them who can get you the goals and be effective. We're not replacing the Salah and Mane that came in. We're replacing the Salah and Mane what's leaving now and trying to up it. And that should be a lot easier, because the players that we've all mentioned just going forward, probably apart from Nunes, are almost the same or better than Mane is now. Not Mane from before, but the current Mane. The current Mane was just getting goals, and he was affecting the game a little bit. But Nkunku now is better than Mane is right now. So that's my thoughts on that. And I'm happy with Carvalho being in the squad as well. I don't want it to go under the radar that he doesn't exist, because we're still talking about, you know what I mean? And he's a top baller, he is. So
that's the question Ravi says here to the panel. Where does Elliott, Jones, Carvalho fit this team next season? Look, with Harvey Elliott, if Harvey Elliott never got injured, Harvey Elliott would have played 30 games this season in the league easily.
Agreed.
I'm telling you. Klopp loves him.
Yeah, he does.
At the start of the season, he played over Thiago and Hendo at times. Klopp loves him.
Yeah,
when he got injured, I've never seen Klopp heartbroken as much as when Harvey Elliott got injured. He was crying.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he came back from injury, he went straight back in the squad.
He was starting to head the Naby at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he was.
And Klopp would rather have him instead of Naby. And I think Harvey Elliott's got a big future. I see a massive future for Harvey Elliott, especially now he's still free. And
Carvalho,
go on, Rob.
Sorry to cut across you, brother. That's the sort of midfield that I want. That midfield that's going forward, making this plays going forward. Not the kind of like, I don't know, the defensive kind of holding type. I want that a midfield that's going forward, that's being dynamic, and I see that in Harvey Elliott. So that's the sort of midfielder that sort of like I'll be looking for Liverpool to get next season. And I think Maddison is a great shot. Because he shoots from out the box and all that, and he's a good player. That's a great shot. So, but Harvey Elliott, he's amazing. He's an amazing player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the Maddison one though, it's just like everyone said numerous times now. As much as I'd like to see him as a Liverpool player, and he does offer, because we haven't really got that sort of player other than Ox who really does take shots from outside the box. But it's just the English tax, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's something that you'd probably pay 70, 80 million for a Maddison for me.
It's only got 2 years left in his
2 years left.
2024.
Yeah, so I mean, Liverpool again might wait till January or next season. But the thing is, though, if you wait then, you might get outbid by other teams. So
yeah,
I think this is what people were saying about FSG. Don't wait, just go and do the business now, because the long term run, you'll make money for it. But I can understand where people say that. I really can.
Does anyone think that Carvalho and Elliott for Klopp is, like we're talking about these signings now? Apart from making up the actual numbers, do you think that Klopp's already thinking that those two are going to be?
He's already said about Carvalho, hasn't he?
Exactly, and Elliott has already shown us that was the way he was going to go.
I'll go and play more than people think next season. I'm telling you, especially Carvalho. I think he's going to play more, because the way they said there's no loan deal back into Fulham just tells you everything. If they think he weren't ready, if they think he weren't ready, they'd put him back out on loan like they did with Harvey Elliott at Blackburn.
Klopp's already said, and he's already said that he's not going out on loan. He's going to be in.
I'm so excited to see them play, man.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Jay, can I just say one thing here?
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to address what I heard before. I heard on a few streets. This notion that because we didn't get the quad in the end, there's two things. One, everyone should be allowed to dream of the quad as much as they like.
Of course, yeah.
Because if you think that your team's good enough to win most games, remember this quad talk didn't start until February. Everyone's acting like we spoke about it since January last year. Like it started in February. Once we beat Arsenal in the second leg of the League Cup, then we was like, oh, maybe we can. We didn't. So that narrative is rubbish anyway. So if anyone who's out there, Liverpool fan, believes that we can do that, enjoy yourself, because it was a hell of a ride. The one thing is this new thing now that we didn't get our own way is everyone talking about this is why we need to sack off the FA Cup and League Cup next season and just focus on, mate, what if we sack them off and then we don't win the league or the Champions League? Like what? Yeah. Remember the League Cup is the first trophy available. So you take it serious as you can. I'm not saying throw your first team in every game, but if we can't on one hand believe Liverpool's the best club in the world and all this, and then next thing is like just go after the Champions League and the Prem. I mean, Man City go after everything, just didn't get everything. But in doing that, they've got a treble and a double in the last 4 years. We were close to doing it this season. We were only like 1 game off, 1 point and 1 game off in losing Champions League of doing it. So it's not impossible. Everyone's this is why I said it was impossible, because no one's ever done it before. Well, we were close. Arsenal going the season unbeaten was impossible until it happened. But like, remember they went unbeaten and then they finished on game 50. They didn't like just lose after the season was over. So listen, we're either not the best or we don't think we're the best, and we just go, okay, we're just little Liverpool and we'll try. Or stick our chest out. We think we got some of the best players. We might not think we've got a better squad than the team above us, which is probably true. But we damn sure pushed them right to the end, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's a point in it, man. So people throwing away these trophies like they don't mean anything. Celebrating that parade now, but next season don't bother with it. All right.
Yeah. Andre, I had Cal on the other day from Coffee, my man.
Yeah.
Cal, they'll come on. Don't worry, my man. John, are you with us, mate? John, are you there?
John, man.
Yeah, apologies.
You all right, mate?
I was busy, sorry.
That's all right, mate. So who do you think Liverpool should sign this summer in the Mane replacement?
I don't really know. I'm a big fan of Bowen. I love Bowen.
Yeah.
But I think Nunes should be our big signing. We should go out to Nunes. It should be Nunes, Basuma. Can it be greedy and after Bowen as well?
You can be greedy if you want. to be honest, John, I think. Do you know what? I think we're going to buy a player that no one's even mentioned. I think that's what's going to happen. Everyone's saying this player, that player, that player, and then Liverpool just go, you know what, we're getting him instead. And everyone will be like, oh, and it's a bit like Jota. I mean, when we bought Jota from
Fabinho as well, mate.
Like, everyone was like, why have we got Jota?
Like Robbo?
Yeah, and Robbo and things like that. And then it works out for the best. But I know the fan base is a bit torn because they're seeing the way the team is at the moment. Right. A few weeks, I don't know what it was, about 2 months ago, I did on the video a squad by squad comparison between Liverpool and Man City because I had an argument that there weren't much in it between the two clubs. So what I did, I went from goalkeeper all the way to the attackers, the subs benches and stuff like that. Because I do believe if you see Liverpool subs bench the last 5-6 weeks of the season, it was better than Man City's subs bench. They had a lot of youth players on it. Yeah. And so I did this comparison. So this is what I'm getting at. So I did a comparison. I looked at the goalkeeper situation. You know, I think we got the two better goalkeepers. Their American goalkeeper, their number 2 is terrible. Yeah. Right. And that I think Kelleher's a better number 2, and I think Alisson is better than Henderson. And I think that ain't. Surely, I think most people think that anyway.
No, Ederson's a bit suspect too.
Yeah, exactly. And I look at the back four. I think our 4 fullbacks are arguably better than Man City's 4 centre-backs. I think our 4 centre-backs, I'd rather have. Konate's a beast. Van Dijk's the best in the world. Matip is arguably the best defender this season of the league, but don't get the recognition. And Joe Gomez, everyone's forgot his absolute quality. You've got Trent. Many argue is the best attacking fullback in the world. You've got Robbo, who's arguably one of the better left-backs in world football. You've got Tsimikas, who's now actually as a good number 2 as most people's number 1 left backs in their bloody teams.
He'd get left back in every team in the league.
Yeah, and he's our number 2. And then you look at our forward line, and our forward line at the time when I did this comparison was Salah, Mane, Diaz, Jota, Bobby, Taki, Divock. Yeah, that is a better attacking lineup than Man City's. Where we come unstuck against Man City is the midfield area. I mean, they got Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, you know, Rodri, what's his name?
Good
German
one.
fella. What's the German fella?
Good
one. Come on the other day and basically won you won them the league.
He's a baller, isn't he?
Basically won them against the league but Villa. And he doesn't play much.
When he the top goal scorer last season.
Yeah, because De Bruyne weren't playing. But this season, because De Bruyne's been fit, he hasn't played much. And he's that good. So when I look at the squad by squad...
Another club player, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. When I look at the squad by squad comparisons, we are not actually that far away from Manchester City. Considering we haven't got City money and where they can just buy Jack Grealish for 100 million, it doesn't really work that season. But then they go and buy Haaland and Julio Alvarez this season, and the owner still says they're not finished. It just shows how worried. I think it also shows how worried Manchester City are about Liverpool. We never turn it round.
Yeah, you are right.
City are worried about Liverpool more than any other team in this league, by the way.
Yeah.
And the reason is when it was the COVID year and last season, no one was in the stadiums. Stadiums were empty. No one was on the streets. We were all locked in our homes. Couldn't see parents, sisters, brothers, whatever. Horrible time of our lives. Man City just coasted to the Premier League on 88 points because there was no competition.
Yeah, I mean, every game was like a training
Liverpool
session.
couldn't compete because they had too many injuries. Man United were apparently competing but fell 20 points behind.
Man City are used to playing without a crowd anyway, Jamie, aren't they?
Yeah, so that didn't affect them. Yeah, it didn't affect them. And City coasted to that Premier League by 80-something points. Now, this season, when Liverpool came back, and like Jurgen Klopp said, once we got all our players back, we're a different beast. Last season, the strikers were so afraid of giving the ball away because we didn't have the back line. That's why our goals dried up as well at the same time. Because they were worried about doing what they wanted to do, worried about giving it away because the midfield was then the centre-backs. So there was no protection. So everyone was worried in that team. Once the team came back this season, look what's happened. City's had to reach 90 odd points to win the Premier League because Liverpool were back and we're the only team competing. So don't get it wrong. And everyone says about, we got to compete, Haaland's been bought, we got what we call a Haaland thing. You could also say as well that City had to get Haaland to compete against Liverpool's power up front at the same time.
Yeah.
And
we didn't have to compete with Haaland, man. We never competed with Aguero, did we?
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at, City might have ended the season scoring more goals than us, but that was like the last three games of the season.
Yeah, it was literally the last three games.
Kevin De Bruyne scored 7 goals in 2 games, and then he's got 15 goals this season. So it's still.
I think they scored 7. They scored 17 in 3 games or something.
I mean, it's just. So it's all a bit. So I don't think we're that far away. I don't think, and considering we haven't got the money they got. So this is why I always say about FSG coming all the way back round to FSG now, guys. Is like, do they back Klopp enough? That is a question we will never know, because we've also got to remember Jurgen Klopp is part of the system. Jurgen Klopp is part of the system. Now, I don't believe in the thing that Jurgen Klopp likes playing with a small squad, because you've heard him this season. He says he's got the best squad he's ever had in his career, and he's trying to compete on all fronts. So he obviously does want a decent-sized squad. But you've got to look at Klopp as well. Klopp likes a certain type of player. If Klopp wanted an out-and-out number 9, with all the attackers we bought since Jurgen Klopp has been in charge, he would have bought an out-and-out number 9. So if he really wanted that way of us playing, I know everyone goes back to his Dortmund days when he played 4-2-1-3, 4-2-1-3-1,
3-1,
yeah. Lewandowski was the main man, and then they had the wide areas in the midfield. But the Liverpool attack is far better than the Dortmund attack. Their attack was mostly through Lewandowski at the time, and then you had some of the attacking midfielders coming in with goals. But we had that front three of Mane, Salah, and Bobby Firmino. And when they were at their best, they were arguably the best 3 as a front 3 in European football. Maybe not individually as players, but as a combination, that 3 was probably the best. You seen Pep Guardiola talking about that front 3 in the Amazon documentary, and he weren't even playing Liverpool at the time. It was half-time in the game, we were winning 6-0, and they were just talking about our front 3 because he was so worried about it, and he rightfully was, because we knocked him out of Europe.
Yeah, everyone used to be petrified of Bobby. They used to be so scared of him.
So, do FSG back Klopp enough? It depends what your thing is in backing him. Because you look at, I got told this season by people in their 30s and things like that, our ages, basically people saying this is the best Liverpool squad they've seen. So if it's the best Liverpool squad they've seen, and we're competing at all fronts, how has he not been backed? That's what I would say. But then at the same time, I understand when people say, instead of just buying 2 players this summer, we needed 3 or 4, and then we wouldn't have a problem the following year. But then that's making it at the same time.
I think Klopp's new contract has me siding with the fact that FSG back him. I don't see a man who's been that successful could easily go off into the sunshine and go on holidays with his family now, signing a new contract. I mean, he said that his missus had a big point to do with it, so I'm pretty sure when you're stressed and you go home to your missus and you're like, they won't back me and it's stressing me out, she'll be like, it's not worth it. Don't bother do it. You've already given that club enough. The fact that he's signed a new contract, looks so happy about it. He's been backed. It's just that everyone's idea of backed is Man City being backed. Like, if we kind of have to draw the line at comparing ourselves to Man City when it comes to deals and stuff. Nathan Ake cost 50 mil. That should let everyone know that we're not on that level. We're not. So just deal with what we've got, and we've been fine so far, man. You are right with Jamie with the squad as well. I think the issue was that our first team squad and their first team squad, there's a point in it, and that's the reason why it finished like that. And the biggest difference is De Bruyne, to be honest. But our attack's better than their attack, but their midfield's better than our midfield. But none of them are way better than each other. No. And then it's just the bench. The difference they have is the fact that if something goes wrong for City, they have someone to bring off the bench. Because I remember Mahrez was like the top goal scorer this season at one point, and then he just stopped playing, and he wasn't injured. So that means they could bring him on and bring Sterling on and bring Jesus on. And like I said, without being shady, we We had Naby to bring on, Origi, who we never use, Taki, who he's not going to use in most of the games, and that's the big difference. But it's not much. It's not much.
Yeah, no, not much. Yeah. Not much at all. It's not much at all. I don't think. Do you know what I mean? It's like small margins to me, really. Do you know what I mean? You know, and
it's small margins.
Yeah, small margin. I mean, the fact that they spent 50 mil on Nathan Ake, and Nathan Ake is not even worth 50 mil, but they did it because they can do it. They can do it. I think the only problem what fans are probably saying at the end of the day is like say, look, all right then, Klopp, you narrowly missed out on sort of like doing this and narrowly missed out on doing that. What can we do as a board or whatever you want to call it? What can we do to help you to get over the line? Do you know what I mean? And I think it's people are not actually seeing that. You know what I mean? They're seeing progressions in other ways, but they're not actually seeing, well, look, at the end of the day, sort of like this sort of thing being rectified, you know what I mean? To get over that line. Because, you know, if we sort of like won even a few of those games that we drew against, we drew at the end of the day, right? We could be talking a different tune here today. We could be saying something totally different. Yeah, you know, if we beat Man City at least, as you said, Savage, if we beat Man City at least once, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you're beating the Brightons and so forth, you know what I mean? We could have been talking a different tune. So what I think fans, I mean, I can only speak for myself anyway. Yeah. What I see sometimes, and from that, right, this is a problem that we've had at the end of the day ever since Benitez was here. Yeah. And even Gerald Houllier, we've had that problem at the day is when a team wants to sit back, we can't get at them. You know what I mean? We start playing the ball in front of them and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So what sort of like fans are saying? Well, fans are saying is like, look, seeing as we had this problem for a long time and everything like that, isn't it time this problem got rectified? Right. Yeah. What do you need as a manager to rectify that problem? Do you know what I mean? Because what Real Madrid did the other day, they employed that low block. They employed that low block and everything there because Carlo Ancelotti knew that worked for these Everton days and everything like that. So he employed that low block and everything there, right? So what fans are saying is, what are we doing to get over that? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Should FSG be giving Klopp the funds or whatever he needs to get over that and everything like that? Because if we don't go over that, we'll just be at the same place every year and everything like that, hitting ourselves against a brick wall. Do you know what I mean? But I do believe.
Rod, can I ask a question then, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think then that I understand exactly what you're saying, but isn't this the reason why FSG won't spend any more money? Because the margins are so close, and the fact that up until a week before the season was over, we had 4 trophies up for grabs. Wouldn't they just be looking at it like, well, clearly you have enough players to do it because you nearly done it by a point. So then it will be back on Klopp. And I almost kind of agree with it that, well, you change your system then. If it's 1 point, because then it's basically telling FSG, are you telling us that you don't have any players in this squad at all that you can break the low block? Because we've seen you do it before. So what your analogy against Real Madrid is the perfect example. Real Madrid do not play like they did against us ever.
No.
Ever. But they changed based on who they were playing against. They respected us. They knew we were a better team. And then they won the game. If Klopp does that in other games, Klopp and his coaching staff in certain games change the way we play instead of worrying about buying a new player, we should win them games. I think that we play our same way every time. Give it to Trent and go down that wing.
But don't you think, and then in that respect, and if you're changing the system, don't you think you have to have the players to play in that system? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you want to go free. So you want to go free at the back, or something like that. Let's say, for instance, you want to go free at the back and where shouldn't we have players available to play that system? Do you know what I mean? You know, so it's a bit of, you know what it is at the day, right? It's a bit of half a dozen one, half a dozen the other. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's partly Klopp's responsibility, and there's also FSG responsibilities.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because what I mean is like change the system, not altogether. It's for certain games. Like Real Madrid
Right,
changed it for one game in the season and won the game, and that game won them the Champions League. So, like, for example, our example would be Tottenham. It started to look in that game like it was like even with Diaz's goal, the way it got scored, it looked like we weren't going to score in that game because they were just defending out their skin. So for that one game, would there be a change? That's where you start doing things like, I don't know, the spamming the crosses ain't going to work. And if they're not going to work, then is there any need for Trent to be on the pitch right now? Bring Gomez on, we'll do this. Or Hendo keeps hitting these one-touch crosses. He's not needed right now. Take him off and do this. And you're saying the personnel, which is fine, but we had Origi in the squad. So if you're whipping them crosses make the sub and then see what happens. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but I just mean we don't change our style for no one. It doesn't matter
what I'm saying.
Team we're playing against. We just don't change it. And even doing that, we still nearly won everything. So I'm saying change it for 2 games, 3 games when we need to, and we win it. But yeah, man.
I agree with that because the fact that they sort of that's why I said he's 6 of 1 and half a dozen the other. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes Klopp is guilty and then they of being a bit stubborn, of sticking with a specific system, even though it's not working. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, instead of like changing the personnel, which he has got certain personnel on the bench, which he can change it and I think that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's proved before when we was playing Wolves at the end of the day, right? And we couldn't get through Wolves and everything that. He bought Origi on and everything that, and we got that goal and we won it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you know, so changing that player, it does work. You know what I mean? That's why I said it's partly Klopp's responsibility and it's partly FSG responsibility. I agree. I want to put it all on FSG's door. Do you know what I mean? I want to put all that's not fair, and I think that, right? Then again, I won't put it all on Klopp's door. They need to come together and come together and say, look, how can we go forward? You know what I mean? We proved at the end of the day that we can challenge Man City and so forth. Now we want to take it to the next level and that. And they probably need to talk a bit more than what they are now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Before I carry on, I've just been drawn to it. Paul, Helen, I know you're arguing in the chat. Paul, I appreciate your comments so far, my friend, on the channel. I really do. Your comments have been good, and there's I like some of your questions and there's debates. You don't have to agree with everything. I'm fine with that. But be cool with Helen because Helen's a lovely lady and she's been around on our channel for a long, long time, man. So just be nice, or apologise and shake hands and let that be done with it, guys. Because this channel, you know, it's not about that. I don't like hate or anything like that. It's about grown-ups having a debate and talking and just be grown-ups, guys. I don't want to see any arguments. I don't want to see it in the chat. Paul, I like your chat so far. The comments you've made in the chats, they're good debate questions as well. So I really do appreciate chat. But be nice to Helen. If Helen's not agreeing with you on some comments, mate, like I've seen, and she doesn't agree with you on that comment, don't be sarky back. Just be okay, fair enough, Helen, and move on. So I don't want to see any more in the chat, guys. Just be love. Just love, guys. Just love,
Respect each other. Respect each other's comments and stuff like that.
It's all good. Football can bring out the worst in us. Yeah, football can bring out the worst in us. We all know that. But it's just all love, guys. Just all love, yeah? We all get a bit emotional and have different debates about stuff. But just be cool, guys. Just be cool. I don't want to see any problems. And Helen's a lovely lady, Paul. So treat her with a bit of respect, my man, yeah? Carry on, guys.
No, I was done there, mate.
You're done. Right.
Yeah, that's a point. That was good. It's good little conversation.
My man, I'll probably do another. I've got loads of these shows coming up, my friend. I've got loads of these shows coming up. If you follow me on Twitter, my man, chuck me a DM on Twitter and I will get you on the next debate show. No doubt about it, okay? There you go. There's my Twitter there. Take my Twitter down, DM me, and then I'll get you on the next debate show. I do these all the time. There's loads of them going on. So, just get me there. who's hitting their drum? Right, let's get. Before we end this, guys, because I've kept you for 2.5 hours, 40 minutes, because we just the chat have been loving it. The people have stayed to watch. So this has been flowing really nicely, and I do appreciate you guys taking out your Saturday evening to spend time with me on the channel and debating our football team that they love so much, Liverpool Football Club, and it's been a blast, guys. But I'm going to go around before we finish off. I'm going to go around the table here, starting with Steve, all the way around to Doug. Mo Salah, before we leave. Go on, bring out Mo Salah before we leave. He's going to go up for an hour. Right, but before we leave with Mo Salah. So, obviously, he's coming. He's got a year left in his contract. He basically told the world, I'm staying at Liverpool next season because that's what my contract tells me to. Then when everyone's asked if he signed a new contract, it's a no. Are you close to signing a new contract? It's a no. FSG apparently offered him 15%. I don't know if that's true. That's saying it's going around. I've seen no one coming out and debunking it or saying this ain't true at the same time. I don't know. But if that is true, that's a bit of a slap in the face. So that takes him to 230, which in FSG eyes, though, make him the most paid Liverpool player of all time in the club's history. So in FSG's eyes, they're saying, like, you've got to be the most paid player. But if Salah wants 400 to 500 grand a week, in my opinion, that's what he wants. I've gone on this channel, might be a bit controversial, and said that Mo Salah for me is not a 400 grand a week footballer. I don't think Mo Salah's all-round game is good enough to be 400 grand a week. How many times we watch Mo Salah? Right, I love Mo Salah. This ain't a dig at Mo Salah, by the way. You can be a quality player without being, greatest of all time, but still quality play. So there is criticism. Yeah. Everyone's got criticisms of their game. Messi's a shit penalty taker. He's still great. He's one of the greatest footballers of all time. Everyone has got criticisms of their game. Everyone's got points. When I watch Mo Salah, we all watch Mo Salah. How many times does Mo Salah get the ball from the right-hand side, cut inside, and run into centre-backs consistently and lose the ball all the time? And how much do you watch the game when you watch it on telly? You go, fucking hell, Mo, like that. Or he gives away a ball all the time, or his link-up play is not as good as it might be as you want it to be. Yes, he's got a good assist and he's got a good assist record and his passing is good. It is getting better, by the way. His link-up play is getting better.
Yeah.
He scores a lot of goals, but Liverpool Football Club as a team create a shitload of chances every match. Yeah. Mo himself gets about 10 or 12 chances a game. He's going to score 1 or 2 goals. And I'm not taking that away from Mo Salah at the same time. He's an exceptional goal scorer. He's a very, 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 very good player. And at his time, he might have been one of the best players in the world. I don't think he is the best player in the world. Even at his beginning of the season, I still didn't think he was. I'm looking at Ronaldo at 37 in a terrible Man United team, still getting the 3rd top goal scorer in the Premier League. So I'm looking at things like that. And, yeah, Mo, you're a quality footballer. There's no doubt about it. I want you to stay at Liverpool Football Club. But 400 to 500 grand a week, that sort of wage makes you one of the top earners in world football. And I just don't know if his all-round game deserves that. So I'll go from Steve first. If you agree or disagree with what I said, debate it, my man. And what do you think we should be paying Mo Salah to stay at Liverpool Football Club?
Certainly not £300,000 or £400,000 a week. I really don't. I think he's been a fantastic servant for the club. I think before he went to AFCON, he was the best player in the Premier League. Since obviously he came back from AFCON, I don't know if maybe it was a disappointment of obviously Egypt not winning that trophy. Maybe that sort of got him in a way. But I think he's still a world-class player, Mo, and I really do think that. But if it was me, I would be saying now he's got, a year left or 18 months left on his contract, something like that. It's either 12 months or 18 months. So I would be saying, personally, either sign the contract or we can't risk Mo going for free. If he's not going to sign a contract, we either just say sign the contract or thank you very much for your service. We'll sell you and hopefully make a bit of profit. But certainly not worth 300-400 grand. I don't think anyone is, to be honest. I really don't. And it goes back to this wage cap. Like Savage said, I don't think it'll work in the Premier League, but I think there needs to be a maximum where we say, right, all players are just going to get, I don't know, 250,000, 300 at the very most. I think that's fair enough, but anything more than that, I think it's just too much for any. I don't think anyone's worth that amount. But I think from going back to the Salah question, I think if he doesn't sign a contract, we need to cash in now because we can't lose Salah on a free. That's just bad business for me personally.
John?
Well, if you're talking about business in Mo Salah, would not make more business sense keeping Mo Salah and not go on a free? You probably make more money in Mo Salah keeping him than you would selling him.
Yeah.
For me, no, but I'd like to say football's all about opinions, and that's why obviously it's.
But obviously, in my opinion, I agree with you, Steve. I would, if he's not going to sign a deal, sell him. But again, was Mo Salah not one of the best players in the world at the start of the season?
Yeah, before AFCON, definitely. Yeah, he was the best player in the world, and
probably the leading player in the world. Should he not be on a contract like Kevin De Bruyne?
No.
But then
I don't think Salah was the best player in the world. If you ask,
I don't think he's the best. I think he's one of the best.
Messi is still better than Salah. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is still better than Salah.
Yeah.
I think Kylian Mbappe.
I
think Kylian Mbappe is better than Salah. I think so. Them players are better than Mo Salah still.
Ronaldo. No.
Ronaldo scored 18 goals for Man United, guys. We're all talking about how shit this United team is. Would Mo Salah score 18 goals for this terrible Man United?
But Ronaldo's just a poacher. All he does is stand up front. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but he scored goals though. But he scores goals though. He scored about over 800. He scored over 800 goals in his career. He scored over 800 goals in his career. Every cup he's gone to, he's balled out.
Right,
every cup.
Sorry
to cut Gussie.
All he's done this season is stand up front. He's a poacher.
He scores goals. He scores goals. That's what he got. Understand? He scores goals.
He does score.
It doesn't matter if he doesn't stand in front of the goal. It doesn't matter if he stands in front of the goal. He scores goals. He's scoring goals, but probably when Salah ain't scoring goals and everything now. And you got to think about this, yeah, right? Salah, yes, he's a world-class player and everything that, right? But he's only been like that since he's come to Liverpool. When he's with Roma, you know what I mean? Nobody's really talking about him when he's in Roma, Fiorentina, especially when he went to sort of like Chelsea from Basel. Nobody's really saying like Salah, yeah, Salah this. It's when he's come to sort of like come to Liverpool and shown what he can do at Liverpool and for that. Then people were saying, well, yeah, you know what? He's world class and for that. I had this conversation the other day, like, yes, in the first season at the day, right, Salah scored 44 goals in the day in his first season at Liverpool, yeah? But you got to think about it for that. Due to the fact of the day, what he done at Chelsea and everything that, when he's at Chelsea, he didn't really do much and everything that until they got rid of him and everything that, right? You got to think with him coming to Liverpool, it's relatively his new season in the Premiership. It's relatively new season. So really and truly, people didn't know much about Salah and everything that. Didn't know about Salah and everything that. So Salah was able to do what he wanted. The second season, and he was so prolific.
I fully agree. But if you look at Mo Salah, right, does he not have a right to say, well, I've done all this for you, since I should be awarded for it? No. He's been underpaid. No matter what you think about him, he's been underpaid.
I don't think so.
He's one of the best strikers in the world.
I'll tell you who has been underpaid.
What are we comparing wages with? This is the problem.
Mane's been underpaid. That's who's been underpaid.
Mane has, yeah.
So if you go with I've said this and I will continue saying this about Mo Salah and Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane and Mo Salah have equally contributed exactly the same to Liverpool Football Club.
Right. How many goals
I
did Kevin
don't,
De Bruyne
think,
get this
I
season?
don't think Mo Salah and Sadio Mane are both 400 grand a week footballers. I just don't think they are.
No.
Right.
No,
How many goals did Kevin De Bruyne get this season?
Look, goals is fine, but I just don't think his all-round play is good enough.
Right.
At times, I'm going to say this now. At
goals
times,
is-
I
how
think
many
we
goals
look
is
better when Salah ain't playing.
But how many goals did
Fine.
Kevin De Bruyne get this season?
Is it 15 or 17 goals in it? So now?
Right. How many assists did he get?
I don't know, not much.
So, John,
Mo Salah is
what would you pay Mo Salah?
goals.
What would you pay Mo Salah?
Would I pay Mo Salah?
Yeah.
I would pay him 350, including bonuses.
So that's probably 500 grand a week. That's
That's
just
a lot of money.
that makes him the 5th highest paid footballer in the world.
No,
That's a lot
no,
of money.
350, including bonuses.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably 500 grand.
No,
Because
that's 350 a week.
Yeah, with the bonuses, it's taking the 500 because what he's on now, he's actually with bonuses, he's on 350 grand a week now with bonuses.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I still give it to him.
yeah, look, I don't mind the bonus thing because the bonus thing is a different. It's not part of the contract, is it? It's not part of the thing. So bonuses are fine. But do you think Mo Salah signs a contract of 350 grand a week?
I think he does.
You think he does?
I think he does, yeah.
I mean, it's a good argument. It's a good argument. Look, I love Mo Salah. Don't get it wrong. I absolutely love Mo Salah and I want Mo Salah to stay at this football club. There is no doubt about it. But when I look at players around the world, the problem is the market has been saturated by oil-rich teams that get average players and put them on stupid wages. And unfortunately, an agent and a player, if you've got an agent, Mo Salah's agent, no matter what we all think of him, he's a prank. But no matter what you think of Mo Salah's agent, he's doing his job, really. So he's looking around Europe and going, so and so's on that much money, so and so's on that much money. Mo's contributed more for his club than any of them are for their clubs. Mo should be on equal to that money. So agents are just doing their job at the end of the day.
He needs to keep his mouth shut, but he's doing more harm than more than good.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, Mo, I don't want to see Mo doing any interviews anymore. I've just got to.
No, exactly.
Because the problem is, I said this at the end of the season. I don't want this going into the new season that he still hasn't signed a contract. And the problem is now, because Mo spoke, if you're a big team, you're waiting until January now, ain't you, to do a pre-contract agreement. If you're a Real Madrid or a PSG, because what you heard Mo say, you're like, I will just now wait till January in 6 months' time, and we're signing him up for free for the following summer. So Liverpool are a bit stuck now. And another thing, do you think Jurgen Klopp would be happy with Mo Salah's comments?
No.
You do I think
no way.
He might be a bit fuming because it's just the way Salah put it, and I love Mo. This ain't a dig at Mo. So anyone in the comments think I'm digging at Mo, I love Mo Salah. Don't get me wrong. But I might just look at football different to the next person looks at football. That's all it is. Football's about opinions. That's why we all love the sport and we live the sport, the club and everything. We breathe it. That's why we love club football. That's why I prefer club football or international football, say, because I breathe it every single day of the week. I do my channel is every day of the single week because I'm talking about the club I love every day of the week. And so I might have a different opinion to the next person, and I'm not going to say their opinion's wrong. Like John's opinion is John's opinion, and John might be more right than I am, but it's an opinion, and we should discuss opinions. Yeah. And there should be no criticising it or bitching at it, or people in the comments going, Jamie's this, Jamie's that. I'm not. It's just my opinion on football.
No, we all have to respect each other's opinion.
Yeah, exactly. It's a grown-up discussion, and we have to have grown-up discussion. And what John's opinion is different. Mine, what Steve's opinion is different. But we are all at that sort of thing where we are saying 400 grand a week basic is probably too much. And if it is the case that he'll only accept 400k and nothing less, then Liverpool not just go 400k. And I think there was a question earlier in the chat. and I do agree with it, and I've said it many, many times. Virgil van Dijk is Liverpool's best player. I don't care what anyone says. Virgil van Dijk is Liverpool's best player, without a shadow of a doubt.
Agreed.
And Alisson as well.
Alisson probably second.
Yep.
Are we going off this season?
No, in the club general. I think
Right.
they're our two best
If we're off
players.
this season, then it's matchup.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just talking in general terms.
Right.
In general terms, our best two players for me are Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. We didn't win anything till them two came to the club, and there was a reason.
Yeah,
for that.
facts.
And we've seen it when Virgil ain't even played this season. We look a totally different side. We look a totally different team. And I think if you give what stops Virgil. Jeez.
What's that? What is that?
The dog don't agree.
It's the babies, man. I'll be right back.
No worries. When I look at Virgil, one thing with Virgil is like his contract was very easy to do last summer because he was injured all year. So Virgil didn't have a lot to stand on contract-wise because he was out for a year. So his contract was actually quite easy to do. That's why I was really shocked about Virgil's contract. I thought that might be one of the hardest ones to do. Because of the injury, I think, kept him down. So his contract's a little bit easier. He was just happy that he's coming back from injury after having a year off and he's got some commitment from the club. I think that was easier to do. Well, what stopped, if you give Mo the 400k, like a lot of people say, give him what he wants, sort of thing, that saying going around. In 2 years' time, you're going to have a Virgil problem. So Virgil's going to go, look, I'm the best centre-back in world football. We all know it. I see some players, centre-backs around the world, double the money I'm on. I want Mo money. And then you got Alisson. David De Gea's on 350 grand a week. Alisson, for me, is a better goalkeeper.
Much better goalkeeper.
What stops Alisson then going, I want David De Gea is the most paid goalkeeper in the world. I want, with Oblak, I believe, I want that sort of money because I'm that thing. Liverpool Football Club can't actually afford to pay all these players that wages. That's why we have a wage structure to keep the job going. And so if Mo wants his proper money as he's put in it, he wants to look like he's respected. I think he's respected at the football club. People might laugh at the 15% add-on. It is a bit of a piss take, but it does at the same time make him the highest paid Liverpool player of all time. So, but I don't know how you feel, Doug, on it. But with Mo, I just want it done this summer. He either signs or we try and come to a thing where look, you can't go on a free, we have to let you go.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I have to say, from listening in to people saying that Mo Salah shouldn't be a 400k player, I'm in agreement. I don't think he should be paid that amount of money. Like, okay, Manchester United are paying Ronaldo a ridiculous amount of money. I think it's 520k, I think, a week. Then Kevin De Bruyne is on 470, I think.
Yeah,
you know, I think if there's two players that are probably worth that, it's probably De Bruyne, because De Bruyne does. Evening, Chris. De Bruyne does it every single week. You know, he's a game changer. He's a phenomenal player as well. Mo Salah, you're not getting 400k at Liverpool. Whatever people say, you're not getting 400k at Liverpool. And I think the reason that Mane is going this summer is because I think Mane is the more valuable of him and Salah right now. Because I think Mane has got better. I think Salah has gone a little bit down. Now, I think AFCON has a lot to be said about that because Sadio Mane has managed to get Senegal to a World Cup and he's won AFCON for them as well. I've seen a lot of comments saying like Rafinha and all this. Like, Rafinha is hot and cold. Rafinha is very, very hot and cold. Mohamed Salah is not going to get a better contract than he is just now, where he is at Liverpool. Because I agree to a certain fact that obviously I think John brought up. I think probably the minimum I would probably give him I don't think it's 300k. I think it's probably the 15% rise that he got. That he was offered and obviously didn't take it. But this is the thing. We're going into a situation now where we could potentially lose one of the greatest Liverpool players that we've ever seen on a free. That is just wrong. It is just laughable. We cannot afford to be going. We cannot afford to be going and losing Mohamed Salah for free. That's just off. No. You just do not want that. You just do not want that. Yeah. So if he doesn't get offered a new deal, or if he turns down a new contract, I would sell him and I would get money, because the thing is, you're not going to get that amount of money that Salah was on for ages. Sorry, I'll just take care of that. You won't get Mohamed Salah the money that we paid for him. I think as well, you have to say that Mohamed Salah, people were saying that this guy was worth 100 million, 150 million. We're not going to get that with 1 year left on his contract. So I think if he doesn't get a new if he doesn't actually say to Liverpool, look, I don't want to sign a new contract, I would sell him. But the thing is, as well, I don't think you can afford to lose both of them, but they're not irreplaceable. I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing many people need to remember. We lost Fernando Torres. We managed to replace him with Luis Suarez, and then obviously Ricky Lambert. Well, the less said about that, the better. I've seen people saying that Ivan Toney is just as worse as Ricky Lambert. Like, what are you watching? Ivan Toney was the highest scoring English player last season.
It's
just laughable, and we're going to a stage now where Salah, if he gets that big contract, then we hopefully, if he does get that big contract, then we don't want his performances to dip. Look at Aubameyang. His performances dipped once he got that 350k a week at Arsenal. Right. And he was a troublemaker at Arsenal. And Arteta said, "No, just get rid of it." Yeah. Look at our wage structure. Our wage structure is one of the best in the Premier League. I don't care what anybody says. Look at Manchester United. Overpaid. Like, Liverpool have gone from like a good club to a phenomenal club now. Klopp has come in. Yep. He has got us with his heavy metal football. Mo Salah and Sadio Mane are not irreplaceable. Let me just say that now. We can replace these two. But I don't want to go into a situation where Mohamed Salah gets towards the end of his contract and in January be able to speak to clubs and sign a pre-contract. I do not want that. The minimum I would offer him, if I'm being honest, would be 250k, and then I would not be going anywhere near that 300k, because I don't think anybody is worth that at Liverpool, no matter what you say.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Savage, stand to you now. Oh, have you got Rob? Sorry.
I was going to tell you quick before I have to go. Yeah, I respect John's opinion. First and foremost, I respect his opinion. And I think
love the job.
This is the point about having debates and everything, that you may not agree with someone's opinion, but you can respect it. Do you know what I mean? Respecting other people's opinions. So I respect his opinion. My problem is with Mo Salah, I think that is this. Mo Salah, it's only since he come to Liverpool, he started to ball out, really. He started to ball out and sort of like hit phenomenal numbers and go on the madness and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? My thing is, at the end of the day, right, if you give Mo Salah what he wants, that sets a precedent at the end of the day for other people to start asking for more money. And before you know it, you got a mutiny on your hands. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. With with like Mane, I think Mane deserves a pay rise and that because you think about it, he's only getting paid 10 grand more than what Jota is, 10 grand more than what Jota is, and everything like that. And to me, at the end, I think Mane is a more better player than Jota. I mean, I do actually rate Mane. I actually rate Mane. I'm not being funny. I might get a bit of flack for this, but I actually rate Mane more than I rate Salah because I think Mane today has got a bit. No. I know. I mean, people might disagree with me. That's your opinion.
I know what you mean by it. I know.
Yeah,
I think
that.
But
I think in the day, Mane in the day, when you look at Mane in the day, to me, he's got more to his game, bit more to his game than what Salah has. And I think that I'm not saying Salah is not a brilliant player and not an amazing player, but I think Mane's got a bit more to his game, and I think that. So if anybody in the day, probably,
right?
I think the difference for that though, Salah's done it on a regular basis for what? 4 seasons now. Yeah. Mane is a world class player as well, but hasn't done it consistently. So for me, Salah is still a better player.
There was this. Sorry.
If we talk about overall gameplay, then he's probably right. Mane probably
overall gameplay. Yeah, overall gameplay. But the fact is, in day, is this: we got to a situation like this now, and I think that right is this. In regards to Salah, I think that right. If he doesn't want to sign a contract, if he doesn't want to be with the best club in the world, because this is the best club in the world, and from that, there's no other club at the day that he should be with. If he doesn't want to be with the best club in the world, and from that, right, and he doesn't want to sign a contract because he thinks that he's not getting as much money as he should do, and from that, I say, not being funny for that. All right, Salah, thank you for your service and for that, but you're going on a transfer list. You're going on a transfer list and everything now. Because no man at the day, right, no matter what he does, even if it was Salah, and I rate Salah, no person at the day in this club, in this great club that we support, this great club, right, nobody's bigger than the club. Nobody's bigger than the club. So don't come in, don't come, all right, you bored out, you've done some amazing things and everything, but don't start making demands and everything that, but you want this and you want that and everything that. You know what I mean? If you're not going to sign a contract, fair enough, Salah, we love you, but you're going on a transfer list and everything that. In respects to Mane and everything, I think Mane and he probably didn't feel his worth at the club and everything that, and he wants to go somewhere else and everything that. Do you know what I mean? So that's something totally different. When it comes to Salah and everything that, Salah needs to sort of like wise up and everything that, rise up and cut the attitude down a little bit and think that, come on now. Do you know what I mean? You're playing for the best club in the world. Your best club in the world and think that. Do you know what I mean? So just accept what they're going to accept you. If you're not going to accept it, you know what? We love you. You've done amazing things to our club and everything that. We'll always have you in our heart and everything that. But it's time for you to move on.
Well,
do you understand what I'm saying? Guys, sorry to cut custody. Sorry to cut. I've got to go now. I've got to go now because
we'll go.
I've got to do some stuff.
Yeah, Rod.
Listen, you know what, Jamie? As always, your show is amazing. The debates are amazing. I think that right. I was supposed to go out tonight, but I said fuck that. I'm staying in and do the podcast. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because it's amazing. All you guys, I love you guys and I think that right because we always got good opinions and we can always respect other people's opinions and that. Love you guys and everything that. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'm gonna do my first video tomorrow on my channel, Anfield, Ross and Nick. I'm gonna do that. So once I've done that, I'll send you the link, Jamie and stuff. Yeah. All right. Take care, guys. Bye bye. I'll see you soon. Take it easy.
Take care.
Big up to Rod as always. So yeah, I can understand what Rod was saying there and everything going on, and we just get a Savage's point before we leave.
I'm with Doug. And that's at push the 250. How much is Van Dijk on 220?
220. That's why they said 15% was making 230.
Yeah, see, I think 250 is a round enough number that it doesn't it doesn't unsettle anyone in the team to be thinking they're paid any less. I think the players that Van Dijk are, and the fact that he's a defender, these lot have been around football their whole lives. Don't know that usually it's the attackers who get paid a little bit more money. It's kind of just how it is. But there is still the fact that remains what I said to you earlier, that with his bonuses on top of what he gets now, he's already on a lot of money. Like, I don't know how much the bonus pushes it up to, but it's closer to the 300,000 already, probably more than that. Just judging off our wage bill, what we've already got, and how much people are being paid. And like I said, the bonuses are so obtainable at Liverpool. People were getting big bonuses last year. We were in a pandemic. We had loads of injuries. Our performances were terrible. Was losing 6 games in a row and stuff like that. And people still left with bonuses. So I know me and Statman said earlier, but it's kind of hard to get to grips with coming off the back of a pandemic and hearing people whinging about money, even though you're getting a bonus as well. But like I said, 250 is a rounded off number that if it ever happens, then I'm okay with it. But can't hold the club to ransom. And it's a iffy one, isn't it? Because if he's not going to sign and he's just going to try and run his contract down, we need to sell him, and he needs to let us know ASAP. Like, we need to know what replacements we can get in. We need to know how much money we can sell Salah for to spend it on the new player or new players. And it's always a weird one, because when you hear all these things, but then you see Salah's face, it doesn't look like it can come from him, does it? It looks like it does. When I see him, I'm like, there's no way Salah's kicking up a fuss behind this. There's no way. This is not this guy. But obviously, there's agents involved and stuff. And remember, they're getting a percentage of whatever the money is. So for them, it's like, well, yeah, end this contract. When we get that sign-on fee, I'm getting a chunk of that. And yeah, I mean, that's the kind of same thing what happened with Haaland and stuff like that. Obviously, he died, so he sadly passed away. But that doesn't take away from like how he is as an agent, and he's a shrewd businessman, and he would have been doing that down to the wire. Obviously, we've heard stories and stuff how that got over the line, and he probably wanted a massive payout for his family before, so he got it. So these lot will do stuff, man. The agents. I think if people stop speaking of agents as they're just this businessman who speaks to this guy every day on an email, these guys are like their best friends, bro. Like, if you see anyone who Raiola manages, agency-wise, after he died and how they were speaking of him, that's not like an accountant. That this is somebody who eats dinner with him every day and stuff like that. I saw it with Ronaldo's agent as well. He's in his house all the time. So these guys know what they're doing, man. And the sad thing is, like, anytime something comes out from an agent, trust me, the player knows about it. Otherwise, you'd sack him off, bro. You've seen it with Pogba this season. Raiola said last year before Christmas about Pogba not being happy, and I think it's best that we move him on. And now he's gone, and Raiola's died, so it was true. So it's an iffy one, man. But Salah can't unsettle this team, man. I love him, man, but I've lived through Gerrard leaving the club, so I can live through anything, to be honest. And it is what it is, man. I trust the club. I trust Klopp. We'll move on from it. We've probably had all the best strikers to ever exist in the Premier League, and we've moved on from every single one. That's one thing what's been constant in our squad, apart from the little iffy Roy Hodgson era. But we've always had a top striker. And I remember Sanchez getting that massive wage at Man U and just falling off a cliff. And he was great at Arsenal. He's one of the best in the world. Aubameyang fell off the cliff the week after. Like, it wasn't a month or anything. It was the week after, and he didn't recover. And I don't know what goes into their heads and stuff. And, you know, we've got basing off what we've had of Salah so far, I probably should side with trusting him and trusting that he can continue in the rich vein of form. But it's just not likely, and he can't run his contract down. He just can't do it, man.
I agree. I totally agree, guys. 1975 Jamrock, a nice super chat one.
Oh, there you have it. That's exactly what I just said.
Big up Jamrock. Yeah, so Salah's been making 370k a week on average since the year after he won the Champions League. Look at Liverpool's wage bill being at 314 million last season, on average of about 140 million in bonuses. And this is a true fact. Liverpool do put a lot of hidden bonuses in their contracts. And that's why the year after we won the league title, we had the biggest wage bill in England at that time, because all the bonuses came into effect. So it's totally true. And guys, it's been a good one. It's been a good one. I've kept you so long. I appreciate it. I really do, guys. But these debate shows are the best around, guys. And I really enjoy them. So what we're going to do now, we're going to finish off, guys. I appreciate everyone in chat. Thank you very much, everyone in chat today. You've all been fantastic. Yes, there was a little bit of a problem earlier, but hopefully that's sorted now. And everyone's good. But thank you to everyone joining me today. Thank you for everyone subscribing. I think I have 50 new subscribers while we were live as well. So
that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to everyone who subscribed to the channel and liked the video as well. Well, I'll just go around now. And Steve, shout out where everyone can find you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jamie. Much appreciated. So, Statman Stubbs Football Channel, you can find me on there, YouTube. Got a few shows coming up this week. I've got a Q&A session. Anyone who wants to come in that's on Monday morning, I think. I've got my Premier League Connections quiz is back on Tuesday evening, so that is going to be good. 50 questions. There is actually 2 connection answers as well, so that's going to be good. And a weekly roundup of the transfer gossip. So lots to keep you updated. And then obviously the Premier League fixture show, that's going to be on the 16th of June, just reacting to the Premier League fixtures being released. So lots coming on the show.
Excellent, my man. Excellent. And
full screen. Yeah, man. Destination Wrestling, Destination Football. If you head over to the football one, just subscribe. The videos will be going up from Monday because I've had the channel a while. Done some videos in the past, putting it back up because it was a podcast before. But for the meantime, definitely Destination Wrestling. I should be doing a watch along tomorrow night. If not, there'll be reaction videos for WWE Hell in a Cell. And then Monday morning we'll do a review of the show. And if anything movies, anything like that, head over to Hugo Online. And yeah, man, I've got YouTube channels coming out the ass. You know the vibes.
Well done, my man. Big up to you, Zag.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me, Jamie. It's been a pleasure. Savage, I just subscribed to Destination Football, by the way. So I literally just got that. So yeah, I've subscribed. If you like my dulcet Scottish tones, then you can find me on YouTube at the Dugout Football Channel. You'll get a lot of things. You'll get really bad jokes. You will get Premier League predictions, and actually, before I do this, Monday evening, 6 o'clock, I am doing a Premier League season-ending review show, and I have the very man Jamie with me. There's also Carl, Dan from Turfmoor House TV, and the lovely Maisie as well. Monday, 6 p.m. I need to make a link for that, so I need to do that anyway. But no, Dugout Football Channel, I will be taking a little bit of a break. Not sure there's going to be much content from me over this because obviously everybody knows I have a very busy period coming up, especially 4 weeks today anyway. But no, thank you very much for having me, Jamie, and I'm looking forward to having you on Monday. Should be a very, very good show. But yeah, Dugout Football Channel on YouTube, Instagram, Douglas.Horn, Twitter handle is Enrod_992. And I'm also on Facebook at Douglas James Horn.
So, yeah, I look forward to Monday. And John, I know you haven't got a YouTube channel, but what's your Twitter, John, so everyone can find you?
It's just John Moore on Twitter, mate. So it is.
Come on, guys.
Like the video, guys.
Thanks for coming in, John. As always, big up everyone in the chat. Thank you for the lovely comments, guys.
Jay, when you're doing the other videos in there, if you don't want to keep linking in subscription, you can actually add the channels to your channel at the bottom.
Yes.
You know how to do that? Yeah, it's a little bit easier. I've got you on mine as well, so it's easier to just click through.
Yeah, no worries. I'll do that as well. Thank you very much, guys. And hopefully I'll have the watch. If my wife is back in time, because she's doing a stall tomorrow, selling her stuff she makes and all that.
What does she make, bro?
She does craft stuff. She makes everything.
Oh, fantastic!
T-shirts, handbags, purses. You know,
can I give a wee shout out to Stephen Owens? Job interview on Monday. Good luck, my friend.
Good luck, mate.
Very, very good luck from all of us.
Yeah, big up. Good luck, mate. Hope it all goes well. You'll get it no matter what. Go for it, mate.
Come on.
Good luck, mate.
Yeah, so she's got that. So if she's home in time, I'm hopefully going to do the Wales Ukraine watch along. So hopefully I'll be doing that tomorrow. Because I did this, fortunately for Doug, I did the Scotland Ukraine one, and
no one did the running games, no.
And I was going to do the England game today, but I can't watch an England game. I just can't take it seriously.
You weren't hungry enough.
We played Hungary and we played 5 at the back. How can I take this seriously?
Yeah.
Well,
some conspiracies going on, man. Ukraine keep winning everything, bro. I don't know what's going on, man. Eurovision and now they're bossing football matches and that. Nah, man. And Zinchenko's winning the league in 5 minutes to go. Nah, I've had enough, bro. There's something going on, man.
To be honest, though, Hungary were just more hungrier tonight.
They were just more hungry.
Yeah,
and on that note, guys.
Mate, don't watch Channel 4 anyway. Not with Michael Owen on there, bro. It's a shambles, bro.
No, it has been making 100k. That's what I said as well, yeah. Big up yourself, Jamrock, as well, for your super chats, guys. And also, guys, memberships are on the channel now. So if you do want to be a member, go to the YouTube homepage, guys, on the channel homepage, and the membership button is there if you want to join as well, guys. So big up to everybody. Thank you for everyone joining in with me on the Saturday night. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for that watching on between Wales and Ukraine. Goodbye. Good night.
Big up.